Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is August 2025 Avenue X's live stream. Let me know if everything is working properly. On my end, at least it looks like such. And for the 25 people who are somehow watching this, let me know. Hello! Wow, the first person is Loki, the god of mischief. What an honor! How do you know I like Loki? Although I haven't really paid attention to Marvel stuff for ever since Infinity War, end of it, but I like Loki, okay? And mostly because I like Tom Hiddleston, what can I say? Good, if it's working. From Sydney, is it cold? Over there? Switzerland, yay! Canada, hey! Which part of Canada? Cat is named Loki. Does your cat do this thing? When the cup is on the edge of the table, it just... Does it do that? If it does that, then it's Loki. Zhao Lusi retire. Somebody is very eager to talk about gossips, okay? Has a little lag. I hope it wouldn't keep doing. I mean, on my end, I see everything okay. It doesn't seem like internet is weird. Let's hope. It's Canada, you know? It's not that reliable. Philippines, Frankfurt, Bangladesh, so many places, Malaysia. I've only been to Frankfurt in the airport. And for like 10 minutes. It was epic. So I had a flight many years ago that started in Britain, issued land in Frankfurt, and then pick up the stuff and then fly back to Beijing. And then the first flight was delayed. So the connection was so tight. I literally had to run marathon in the airport. The moment I touched down in Frankfurt, the person like waiting for the connection was like, your plane is about to take off, like follow me. I'm like, okay. So I started running and didn't even stop for 1 second. And the moment I got on the plane, the door closed, we took off. So that was my time in Frankfurt. My 缘分 with Frankfurt is 10 minutes running. But then when I got to Beijing, because the connection was so tight, my luggage didn't get on the plane. My luggage just came from Britain and didn't get time to go on the Beijing bound flight, and I had to wait for a day to go to the airport to pick up my suitcase because I got to Beijing but my suitcase didn't. That was my story with Frankfurt. Since there are people from there. Hi, people from India. So many people from so many different places. So cool. Brazil. Imagine Allen Islands. Wow. Places I probably will never get an opportunity to go. Just imagine 50 years ago, this is impossible. And now we're doing it just randomly every day. We can do that. How cool. Hanoi, BC. What else? So many places. Pakistan. Wow. Here for gossip. I mean, all the gossips you see is all the gossips I see. I don't have exclusives. I'm not in gossip land. Indonesia. Yeah, so from last time to now, we've got multiple dramas that went live in Chinese dramaland, although honestly speaking, nothing is really that interesting. I mean, there are no bad ones, and I would say only one is, if you're wondering what are the good dramas right now that just aired or just finished airing, would only be the iQIYI 19 episodes, beneath or underneath. No, beneath the undertow, I think that's the English translation. Chinese is 暗潮鸡胸 for characters. Just finished yesterday, if you pay extra. If not, then tomorrow, I think it's done. 19 episodes. It's the same team that did the drama 13 Years of Dust. 2 years ago, I think. Police drama led by Chen Jianbing and Chen Xiao. So this time it's Chen Jianbing and Chen Ruoxuan as the lead. Still pretty short. One case drama. It's just one case. It's written by the same scriptwriter and it's done by the same team. I guarantee you, if you liked 13 Years of Dust, you're gonna like this one. And then the moment you start watching this drama, pretty much in first 10 minutes, you're gonna tell it's done by the same team that did 13 Years of Dust, because it's so the same style, same way of writing characters, but really effective. So if you want currently a good drama that just finished airing, that's worth your time, and go and watch that one. That's the only one I think ever since A Dream Within a Dream that's worth watching from Chinese dramaland to some extent. It's not the best story out there again, but it's a qualified enough detective case-breaking drama. And it's done by that team that really knows what they're doing, basically. So that's the 暗潮鸡胸 from 爱奇艺 Beneath Undertow. Same team as 13 Years of Dust. Chen Jianbing is still the lead, and he's a really good actor. That's the only one that's worth watching right now, honestly speaking, if you want to spend time. From my point of view, okay? In case anybody is wondering. Chili, hey. Must not have liked Americans. Really? Oh my god. So did you like get misdirected? Oh my god. How was Chen Ruoxuan in it? His acting is not bad. His character is a little bit annoying. I think it's a very typical way of writing a young newbie who is a little bit too hot-headed. So, you know, the typical hot-headed, not really know his bearing, keeps making mistakes and too rush kind of. I'd say it's a stereotypical type of character. I think on writing level, it could be worked on a little bit more because it's too typical. I mean, it works as an archetype, but it's too common. Like in this type of drama, you see characters getting written like that all the time. But his acting actually is not bad. Chen Ruoxuan, I think over the years, he's getting more and more worked towards a type of, he's becoming more and more recognizable and unique, which is a good sign. He's not bad at all. He's pretty good in this one. And I like over the years, he's built up a little bit muscle. He's basically becoming more man than a boy over the years. I mean, ever since actually Shadow of like the Ming Dynasty one with Zhang Yunlong. Is that like 2 years ago as well? Ever since that period drama, I think he's gotten a lot more matured. So it looks pretty good. If you like Chen Ruoxuan, you can watch this. Although his character is not that adorable, but then not that annoying either. It's kind of like parts annoying, parts okay. Sword Rose is not bad in terms of the plot itself and then the theme it's talking about. All the trafficking cases and all the unit characters and their performance are pretty good. It's just, if you're looking at the main characters, there's very little juice that you can get from their performance or even from script writing level. It's just, it's more like they're carrying the case. They're there so the cases can happen. But in terms of 迪丽热巴、金世佳, all those main characters, how much there is in the script for them to have very unique, interesting characters, not necessarily. And also, Sword Rose gets heavily edited and redubbed. There's like this one episode that has this whole scene that completely get redubbed over so that everything they're speaking is not what you see. The mouth and the lines completely don't fit. For that whole sequence, like whole chunk of like 10-15 minutes, nothing actually is what they originally spoke. You can tell the mouth doesn't fit even one character. It's absolutely annoying to watch that. I think it's because the original script is too brutal, what they were talking about, and they completely covered it with a softer version of the case. It didn't go through censorship, maybe because it's just too much. And maybe that's one of the reasons why that drama went through so many years of censorship. So Sword Rose gets definitely edited and manipulated a bit too much in post-production. So I don't know if they cut a lot of stuff out of it, therefore it no longer reads as nicely. Let me read what people have typed. Molly. It's still shooting. It's not gonna air until next year. If anybody is asking Molly, because they only just started shooting last month, right? Period dramas takes about 3 months to finish shooting, 3 to 4. Then usually a whole year of post-production and censorship. That's just normal. So if something starts shooting now, if it airs next year, this time is considered fast. Usually it will be longer than a year. That's how usually it works in Dramaland. Oh, you work in media, Biggie. What kind of work do you do? Yeah, Zhang Yunlong drama. Yes, that story wasn't well written, but its production design is beautiful. Costume particularly. It's very mean. It's like very, very mean. It's done very well. Female general. Don't spend your time watching it, honestly. Multi-stand 95. You're gonna get disappointed and shocked just starting episode 1. It's like stitched up short drama, you know, the vertical screen 1 minute drama. It's like the first episode is so stitched up short drama, it will shock you in terms of how lazy they are at storytelling. They literally don't bother explaining anything. They just stitch unrelated clips together and rush through something that probably worth like 3-4 episodes of laying clues and build up to show the female lead's first lifetime. They literally didn't bother. They cut things like super bad short drama in the first episode. Go and watch Female General. Tell me you are not gonna feel like that. Because I watched the first episode, I was like, this is worse than Glory. You know how Glory is like stitched up short drama? This is like 3 times worse. If you go and watch Female General, that's the first episode. That's gonna knock you in the head in that way. Wow. And then the rest just goes to trope, like the normal female lead and male lead, how they build up. I mean, they already know each other, but then in their first lifetime, he didn't know she's a girl, right? This is their second lifetime. They redo everything they've done in their first lifetime, getting to know each other again. And everything in this drama, I watched like the first 5 episodes, everything in the drama is basically there so that they can fall in love. It's like they can finally, everything works for the purpose of them getting together. Everyone is a tool. The whole military, the wars, any of that setup is so that the romantic story can happen. That's the, it's like Zhao Lusi, where all the cases happen so that the female lead and the male lead can, it's that kind of drama. It's that kind of drama. Okay? Ahaha. Wanted Detective. Not good. I watched until the episode where they met old guy. You know, the Zhang Yuwei's character. No. Yes. The doctor, the coroner character, you know, the guy from Yi Nian Guanshan who plays Yuan Lu. His teacher? No, teachers, like where he came from. The old guy who's bald and looking, he always plays like weirdo in Chinese period drama until that guy shows up. I'm like, I've had enough. I can't deal with that drama. I can't remember which episode I quit. That's 定风波, Wanted Detective. Yeah, with Xiang Hanzhi and Wang Xingyue. I may make a video talking about multiple dramas again that I don't like. It's one of those. But I mean, it's not as bad as, say, Female General. Because Female General is so... Apart from the fact that Zhou Ye does have a pretty face. And actually, just looking at Zhou Ye's face, she can to some extent pass for a very feminine, pretty looking boy. Because she's skinny and she doesn't really have a breast, and then she, her face actually can be dressed up looking more male than. But apart from that face, either the voice dubbing doesn't really sound like a man at all, and then her body. The thing is, her body is too tiny and too feminine in proportion to be recognized as a man. So for female general, it's like the face is okay, the voice doesn't work, her body shape doesn't work. And honestly, Cheng Lei does not fit for general too. Cheng Lei, the actor, in my opinion, he should be playing characters such as a strategist, such as a spy, somebody who is 黑切白 instead of 白切黑, or let's say a very masculine like general kind of role. So he needs to have the baseline of this character needs to be on the negative, darker, lunar, brooding side. And then in that, there's some kind of warmth and goodness. He suits that type of role. But if you want to convince me, either of them can be an ancient time cold weapon era general who wears armors, lead an army, charging on horse, like it doesn't work. Neither of them. She doesn't pass for a boy, no matter how hard she tries. Like, she clearly is a woman. And then he also doesn't really look like a general, right? He looks more like the general's strategist. That's Cheng Lei, in my opinion, okay? In terms of casting, he just doesn't quite look like a general. The kind of a very... You need like an... Elementary speaking, if you're looking at astrology, you need somebody who has a little bit more earth, soil, energy to be a general. To me, I just think if you're just looking at typecasting, Cheng Lei doesn't suit this typical kind of general role. And then the script is not good. Just put it that way. The female general script is pretty shitty. The editing of the first episode is completely shitty and confusing. It's really bad. So there pretty much is nothing the actors can do to make it better. Honest opinion. So I've already kind of like ranted about multiple dramas before we even properly start today's live stream. Let me look at the dramas I'm going to mention today. So I will be talking a little bit about each. 地龙风波 first, Wanted Detective. I've kind of already mentioned it. 锦月如歌 just went live 2 days ago. The Legend of the Female General. The one I just finished, I said worth watching, Beneath the Undertow. You have Sword Rose that's still airing. Just, I think, on the brink of finishing. The one that's finished airing, Justifiable Defense. 张鲁一, 高叶, 白敬亭. I actually finished airing because it's really short. It's like 3 days they finished airing the whole thing. We can talk a little bit about Zhao Lusi, but that's in gossip land. That's not in drama land. And other things, okay? Those are the currently ongoing stuff, right? New stuff coming out, I think, on the 13th, coming up next week. We're gonna get the Yang Mi drama from iQIYI. 生万物. Is it like a thriving land or something? It's mid of last century setting, Chinese countryside. Reminds you of Bai Lu Yuan and a couple of other dramas of that era. Drama she did with Oh Hao and Qin Hailu and many other people. That one is coming up next week. I think that's her last chance for Yao Mi. If she still flips, like in that drama, if she still flips, she's kind of like completely toasted. Because she flipped so many dramas in the last couple of years. Really, nothing really succeeded for her. Fox Spirit, the 1940 whatever Harbin drama, it all kind of flipped. So this one coming up next week. If it didn't work, it's gonna be very bad. So that's coming up. And then other things, wait till they tell you. I think we still have like 2, 3 that will air this month. I haven't had time to deal with that. I think I'm just like completely outgrown Jin Yong. Jin Yong is too familiar. Jin Yong, I've watched too many Jin Yong growing up. I'm like tired in the way of its characters and world setting. I need new stuff. I am a 喜新厌旧 too much. If I have time, I will try, but for the Legend of Condor Hero, the new expansion version, right? There are certain actors I really don't enjoy looking at. That's a problem. I don't want to watch because they're in it. Like, I just don't. I look at them and I'm like, ugh. Like, I get this physical reaction. Rebirth coming out anytime soon. I don't know. Depending on if Huang Yang Tian Tian is highly considered problematic. They probably want to keep it down for a while until people forget and then release the drama. If they release it now, they're gonna get a lot of backlashes. If I were the producer, I would try to keep it for a year. Because if you air Rebirth, like, first is whether they finished post-production. Second is censorship, go through that. And then you consider whether you want to put it out. The problem with that is she is not popular right now. You put it out, inevitably people are gonna report to the drama like crazy. You want people to get distracted and not caring. Better during a time where other huge things are happening, so nobody has time and energy to focus on you, and then you air the drama, right? Right now is like not the ideal time. If it's my project, I would do it that way. Yeah, 1999年的自己, I know that one. It's also Li Yunrui and Huang Yang Tian Tian. I watched about half of it. I think it's okay. Like, it's not bad. It's actually produced in a very sort of like in its own taste and style way. It's just the story is, to me, it's like, yeah, just another growing pain, young love, you know, like childhood, high school. You can watch it, you cannot watch it. There's not that much sort of special thing about it, you know? You don't get like super good performances, highly engaging characters or writing. It's not the type of really good nostalgia drama. It's like, okay. So I didn't stay the full course. It's okay, but it's not like groundbreaking. Yeah, it's still the earring. It's still the earring, the parents' problematic conduct, whether there's any kind of corruption involved, while her dad was a civil servant. Cotton candy drama. Shouldn't keep enjoying, but somehow it's still satisfying. Cotton candy. I know what you mean. I mean, a lot of cotton candy dramas are like sweet for the time, but I usually don't go back and rewatch them. If you want to rewatch certain dramas, it needs to be not just cotton candy, I'd say. You know what I mean? If it's just pure cotton candy, you kind of eat it for one time and you leave it. So there are plenty of cotton candy, but usually I don't rewatch them. So oh yeah, there's the Immortal Ascension. I forgot. See how like not having a sense of existence that drama is. It's young, yet I totally forgot its existence. Is it true about rumors male lead cannot be older? No. I mean, Chen Jianbing, you know, he's old. He's like close to 60s, right? He still has dramas where he acts like love interest of Li Yitong. I mean, he's older than 35. He's been older for a long time. Back in the days of Zheng Huazhuan, he's already older than 35. You know, he still gets into a love relationship with Li Yitong, huh? You know, so there's definitely no restriction on that. Don't worry. And also, honestly, it depends on what you look like. If you have a face that's like 25 and you're like 65 years old, it does not matter. If you look actually young on camera, who cares? Narcotic Operation, I didn't. This one I didn't. I don't know, I just don't wanna. I get tired of these couple of male actors in China who are like mid-age range 40 to 50, used to be like really famous, and also they're very good, but they keep just doing roles that are repeating in every sense of the way. I know they can do it well. I know they will not disappoint me, but I also know I already know what I'm gonna go in for before I even go into it. And let's say I like my male lead characters clean shaven and not greasy looking. And those lead actors, because they're being 实力派, they're actually not being idol. So there's almost a requirement for them to not look clean. And you know what I mean? And sometimes I'm like, I know they're good actors. I know they perform well, but I'm a shallow woman who wants to look at prettier faces. I'm just literally like that. And also the kind of drug drama in China, we have so many, right? And it's constant theme. It gets made into dramas all the time. And one more, one less anti-drug drama is just like almost inconsequential to Chinese drama land, honestly. And I've watched so many before that I get tired. Because I know how it's going to unfold, right? The clever, bad, drug-dealing people, blah, blah, eventually they're all going to lose because it's China. It's like the country on planet Earth that deals with this type of problems in the most way. And it's never going to pass censorship if it's not the case. So it's almost like before you even go into the drama, you know what's going to happen. And you almost can see their performance. And you know these actors, what they can do. So it's like, why do I even bother to watch it? Before I even watch it, I know how it's gonna look and unfold, and I don't need another one. It's me, okay? I don't think it would, like, I haven't watched it. I haven't heard anything really bad about it, but I also haven't heard anything that's very, very good about it. It's like everybody just go, oh, it's the best thing. I haven't heard that. So I'm like, yeah, I'll just like leave this one. I don't think I'm gonna lose much. Women in narcotic operation. Okay, cool. If that's the case, that's great. I mean, I'll see if I get around. If like I run out of stuff and it's so boring and I may click it open. Have you seen Nanjing Zhaoxiangguan? Have you noticed where I am? It's not up to me. It doesn't get released where I am. I think it does get released in Canada, but it's like until middle of August. So it's coming next week. Also, I'm not sure if Winnipeg is gonna have it. I know Calgary, Toronto, Vancouver will have it. It's already like being announced, but Winnipeg is not on the list. And judging by just how irrelevant Winnipeg is to the bigger picture of the world, unfortunately, as it may not come here, and so I wouldn't be able to see it. So Nanjing Zhaoxiangguan Dead to Rights, I have no idea whether I can. I've already heard a lot of good reviews, but depending on, you know, whether it gets released. 他的生存之道, yeah, that one. I looked at it a little bit and I quit. Again, it's a story. I think it's more suited for a movie instead of a drama. That's the first thing. Second, it has very little selling point to drag people into the story. In the drama market, I would put it that way. Third, I can't deal with color grading. 它的生存之道, her. While I can see what style they went for and why, and I think it's quite different from most of the other dramas, I get it. I also think it has done things that's pretty well done, but the color grading is too intentional, and it's actually not suited for drama. If it's a music video or it's a short movie, maybe that will work. If it's an episodic thing that runs for 10, 20 episodes, it all looks like that, nobody can deal with it. Honestly, I think they did the wrong thing of picking that color grading. I know what they're going in for. Like the style instantly recognizable, but I don't think it works for long form, which is her on Tencent. If you go and check it, you will immediately understand what I mean by the look of it. If you've watched enough music video, stuff coming out of Japan occasionally, like there's that vibe, how they graded it. Desaturate, high fade, so the darker part gets like brought up very, very much. It's very faded look. It just cuts out all the details in the dark zone. It's like that old, it's like the film or the photograph that's been exposed to sun for a while and it starts to lose detail. It's that look. I'm like, music video, 3 minutes, good. Dramas, 20 episodes. It feels like you're gonna faint watching it because it feels like the kind of thing you see when you get a heat stroke. You watch the drama, you feel like you're constantly in heat stroke mode. That's what it looks like, her, 生存之道, which completely comes from color grading because it's a log thing that they shoot and then they can color grade it to however they like. They can totally color grade it to the normal way, yet they don't. They just make sure it looks like that for the whole thing. I constantly feel like I'm gonna go blind and faint. I can't keep watching it. It just induces physical reaction. So after a couple of episodes, I'm like, the story, I already see where it's going. Again, I think it's more suited for a short movie or just a normal length movie, not for a drama, and then it doesn't look good for 20 episodes. I can't watch it. I quit that simply because visually it's actually really, really annoying. I don't know how many people have that reaction, but I can't deal with that color grading. And I watch too much stuff already. I don't want to watch something that just makes me feel uncomfortable, physically speaking. Frustrated watching Deep Affection I haven't even started that because I don't connect to either of the leads. The girl and the boy, the two actors, I don't have a problem with them, but their performance never connected with me in anything I've watched before. She's pretty, but she's odd too. And I totally don't get. Like, sorry. I mean, it's like he's one of those actors. I'm like, I look at him, next day I forget what he looks like. So it doesn't work on me, these two people. I didn't watch it because I know it's not gonna work on me. Just me. What's a good drama? Like I said, the iQIYI just finished 19 episodes. Beneath the Undertow. 暗潮吉凶. It's the same team that did 13 Years of Dust. That's the only one I think recently that finished airing that's kind of worth your time if you want to check it out. You know, it's one case drama. So the whole thing is one case. It kind of is the typical, you have like one thread and entangled huge ball of wool and you try to pull it through and get it sorted. So the whole drama is just using that one thing and pull until the end comes out. That typical, very slow progression detective story, but not boring, I'd say, because it's kind of written by a very skillful writer. So not very exciting, not multiple cases, not super cool stuff going on. It's just normal policemen who do boring job day in, day out and figuring out a case that's very, very entangled in many other things. That's what that drama is. But overall, it's better than other things I've seen during this time. That's the iQIYI one. A dream within a dream. Li Yitong's been in the industry longer than Bai Lu. Bai Lu is the later comer. Li Yitong has been around for longer, right? So you would say Bai Lu probably looks like Li Yitong, not the other way around, although it doesn't really matter because they're not that different in terms of age. They do have similar features, but actually they vibe very differently. Li Yitong has a much more sweeter vibe due to her eyes. Her eyes has this, like, when she smiles, it's very, very like the moon look she has. Bai Lu is totally different. Bai Lu's energy is a lot more, I think, due to Bai Lu's face, like the cheek and the jaw line, and she's a lot more masculine just in facial structure. So she actually doesn't vibe the same way as Li Yitong at all. Also, Li Yitong is actually very tiny. If you look at her frame, Li Yitong is very, very tiny. Her bones are like thin, smaller frame person. I think Bai Lu is a bigger frame person. So they actually vibe quite differently. Although they have similar, I say, proportion. If you're looking at her face, eyes, you know, like the position of, but they're very in detail different. I know there's this thing about Li Yitong, Bai Lu, Li Qing, and Sun Yi. These four actresses often get like put together and say how much they look like each other. And to some degree, I agree, because just looking at the face, proportion, similar, but actually the four of them are completely different. Like, they suit completely different things. Basically, if this role fits Li Yitong, it's not gonna fit the other three actresses. Same thing, if it fits Bai Lu, it's not gonna fit the other three. If it fits Sun Yi, it does not fit the other three. Fits Li Qing, does not fit the other three. They're actually very, very different. Wild World. Yeah, it's like a Wild World is just for fun. It's nothing groundbreaking, that variety show. And if you don't like just looking at people being silly, you probably wouldn't like it. That whole thing is about people go out traveling and being silly constantly and doing silly things. So if you like that silly thing kind of variety show, it's fun. Otherwise, it's like not that much going on. But if you like any of those particular people, you're probably enjoying it, because it's people got crazy, right? On that trip. It's like everybody is 抽象. It's like a Chinese, I don't know, like popular way of saying it on internet. You can't directly translate that. You can say it's a level of being whimsical and not making sense and abstract. Like, the actual word means abstract, but basically you act in ways that no one can really predict and understand, and yet you don't give a shit. So that's like being 抽象. So that whole variety show is that whole group of people constantly being 抽象. I did talk about that drama. Zhongyang Li. I just talked about it. I think it's worth watching. It's one of the better ones you have right now. Wild World. Yeah, I'm talking about Wild World on Tencent variety show, where Sun Honglei, Li Naiwen, Gong Jun, Liu Yuning, Chen Xinxu, although he's not in the first couple of episodes, Wang Yuwen, and they went to Europe in July and shot the whole vlog-ish thing. Later, you would see Jing Jin joining in. You would see Chen Xinxu definitely going back to it, because I think the first couple of days he wasn't there. He was shooting a drama. He couldn't make it. And then Ling Yi also showed up. Some parts of that show when they were in Spain or something. I can't remember exactly, but They were in Europe for fun. Chengyi's drama, I don't know. It's that legal thing, right? They just sued people, and once that gets cleared, maybe. Although I wouldn't have a very high expectation of that drama, honestly, even when it airs. Just say it's my intuition. I've seen too many dramas. I got this weird thing now with my brain is when I started, because the Undertow drama, 暗潮吉凶, it aired a few days before I went in. So by the time I got in, it's already episode 14, and it's 19 in total, so almost finished. And I heard people say the drama is actually not bad. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go in and test it out. So I swallowed 14 episodes in one day and got a huge migraine afterwards because I literally watched it from morning till like evening. I didn't speed through it. And don't do 14 episodes a day. That's how I would suggest everyone, because it's gonna cause a headache. I mean, I can tell you that. Anyway, I watched that drama, 14 episodes in one go, and I kid you not, the first 5 minutes of the first episode, when it starts running. Now, apart from I know it's Chen Jian being led drama, I don't know anything. I haven't looked it up. I just know it's a case breaking. And I watched the first kind of 5 to 10 minutes. I'm like, this smells so much like 13 years of dust. It's like 13 years of dust coming back in its spiritual form. I looked it up. Same writer. I'm like, okay. It seems like basically I can let my brain run on its own. I don't have to actually consciously notice anything. The drama runs, and my system one will just pick it up and say, this is a drama that probably is done that way. Go and search, and yeah, it's the case. So this is how I read dramas now. I don't know. I actually don't know consciously why I would think of a drama just by looking at a couple of things, trailers, whatever, and I get a feeling, and usually when it turns out to be, it's pretty accurate. I think it's just I've watched too much over the years. I've watched thousands of dramas. My brain has made up a database. It's like AI, you know, AI runs. You don't know how it runs, but it spit out results and conclusions for you. It's like my brain has a dark database and back-end algorithm that I don't get, but it runs on its own, and then it tells me this is that type of drama. Most of the time I'm right. I don't know how it works, but I think it's just overexposure. Okay, it's like the quantum leap has happened, but I don't know how, and I don't care. It's like, yeah, It's not like I can make money on it. So like even when I have that, it's like, yeah, so what? Yeah, it doesn't do anything apart from like just it does what it does. I don't know how it can benefit humanity, but I do that. Like I watch a trailer. I usually I watch a trailer. If it's a proper trailer, it's like 2 minutes, 3 minutes of the actual drama. I can already start rating the drama, and then usually by the end, right, it's pretty close. It's like how my brain works now. And it's beyond my conscious awareness. So I cannot actually reason it. I mean, I can post-reason it. I can pretend to be really clever in front of my viewers to impress you. It's like, I know everything, but it's not true. It's like, my brain actually decides what it is, and I don't quite know why it does that, but usually it's right. And honestly, that's how I look at dramas, and it came with the years of torture I've suffered. So I think that's like just one gift that the universe has given me, which is you've watched too many episodes of shitty stuff, so we're gonna give you this weird ability that you don't quite understand. But then when you watch a trailer, you're gonna be able to rate a drama before it even airs, and usually it's right. Being specific in terms of gifts. So, if you've been on my channel for long enough, you've watched this whole thing unfolding over the last 8 years. You know, I'm not kidding. I don't know if Li Qing and Xiao Zhan are doing it together. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't talk about Xiaozhan dramas on my channel. I just want to stay safe. The world has too many weird things already. Okay. Really waiting to be released. Honestly, anything Liu Yuning leads, I would be like kind of like give it a bit attention from now on. He has one that hasn't aired, may come out this year. I think it will. And then another thing about that drama is it's directed by three-body director. It's just a pretty good director. That I will put a little bit sort of like, I definitely will look at it when it comes out. Anything else that may come out this year? I really want to see the sci-fi ball lightning. I don't know whether it's bad or good, but I need a sci-fi. I like that. And it hasn't, there's no news about it. It may be a disappointment, but at least it's a sci-fi, you know, like you don't get another sci-fi. Anything else? A lot of other dramas are like, there's one actor I really like, but then I kind of don't feel good about the overall production. It's like, I don't think the production is gonna impress me, although I really want to see that actor, but most likely when the drama comes out, if the drama is not good, even when it has that actor, I can't keep watching it. So there are a couple of projects I'm like, I really want to see that actor, but I'm not thinking it might turn out to be a great drama. What about Yang's performance in the second season? I only saw clips. I didn't watch the drama. I saw a couple of clips and I'm like, I may not have a pretty face, but my face can move. I've never done injections, I've never done any cutting of the bones, I've never done any Botox, so all the muscles are movable. Unlike flourished peony. It's uncanny valley level, okay? And just looking at those couple of clips, I'm like, yeah, Imperial Coroner, yeah, for sure, that one. I guess because to me it's so default, I definitely will watch it. I don't even consider it consciously. I mean, it's Imperial Coroner. Yang Shuo does have a good voice, but when he doesn't act greasy, he's actually not a bad actor. But when he does 霸总, it's so Yang Shuo from Like a Flowing River. Go to film crew, Liu Yuning. I think he's being offered a drama right now. If it's a good one and if nothing went wrong, you may start to hear at the end of this month or coming up September that he's signed up to a new project. It's highly likely at this point, but wait till it actually officially gets settled. I think that's what's going on with him. Also, his tour is gonna go to Beijing in September, I think. At least that's the plan for now. Check out Zhu Yu. When it comes out, I will, but I wouldn't put a high hope on it. I mean, even when Zheng Qinjie is directing, because honestly, not that confident in Zhang Linghe's ability to pull it off. I actually do not like him. I think he's pretty good looking. And if you look at the truth, he's a clever, intelligent guy who's a pretty nice guy overall, right? But let's be honest, he's not blessed by the god of acting. That's Zhang Linghe. He's not blessed by god of acting. And acting is something like sports. To become top competitor, you have to be talented. Work hard is one part of it, but ultimately you need to be talented. If you're not talented, working hard is not gonna make it like a quantum leap. It's like people are built differently. It's like some people are really fitting for like short distance running, some are for long distance, some are for jumping. Even within sports, the people who are made for jumping is not made for running, okay? It's the same kind of thing. Acting is also very specific. You may be generally good at art, does not mean you're gonna be good at acting. And if you wanna be top notch in your profession, you have to come in already with talent. And then other disciplines comes with it, help you kind of stay there. But if you don't have that talent, you can't fake it. And you cannot practice it like so that you can make it happen. Any type of like performance art requires that kind of, you're made for the profession. It's, ask any top sportsman in their field. You know, it's like they're talented. Apart from hardworking, they're talented. If you don't have that, you can work it out from like not existing already. I mean, Zhang Linghe is not the type of people that's blessed with acting talent. He's good looking, but he's not acting talented. You know why any type of performance art kind of school will have audition? That's the reason, right? They have to see you, they have to, and for very experienced people, they just take a look at you and they know if you're material or not. And it's a cruel profession. And to be honest, if you're wildly talented in acting, you don't really need any training. It's like, yeah, you can like clean up this a little bit, that if you don't have a perfect, for example, in China, right? If you don't speak Mandarin very well, you can go and kind of like work on it, get that sorted. But if you're wildly talented, really any kind of training, school, acting academy, they just add on, like sprinkle on, like make it trimmed a little bit nicer. But if you're truly wildly talented, particularly for camera, I'd say for theater, it's a slightly different, but for camera, close up, if you have it, you have it. It's that. And if you are made for it, you almost don't have to do anything. Yet you're made for it. It's camera. And it's that particular type of thing. You either are made for it or you're not. That's very cruel profession. You know, it's like fighter jet pilots. Yeah, they get trained very hard, but you have to first come with the fact that you are a fighter jet pilot material. You can stand the G-force, you don't get like disorientated, you have like very good, I don't know, like control of your hormones so you can stay very calm. You're like body built frame-wise, you can fit into the cockpit, all that. Like, you can't do it by hard working. It's kind of like born. Our generation, I don't think anyone can watch it and enjoy it that much. It's like, I don't know what they're doing. Why? I mean, it looks like a prettily shot drama, but that's about it. So let's quickly run through the ones that are ongoing dramas, and then we can talk a little bit about gossip. Immortal Ascension, I stopped pretty much after I made the video, combine everything, and I'm not going back. I think they wasted all the money they spent going to real locations, snowy mountains, shooting the scene. And I don't know why. You spend that much money, go on real location, and you shoot it like shit. Honestly, they can give me the camera, and I can use a like a DSLR, like the one I'm shooting this with, like old GH5, or just get a Sony cam. Anything. I mean, don't even have to go to Red. Just give a normal YouTuber camera. I can shoot it and make it look prettier than what they did with Immortal Ascension. It baffles me in terms of how bad it looks when it's real location. Why? Come on. So for Immortal Ascension, the camera crew should get fired and banned from Chinese film television making. It's really ununderstandably bad. Immortal Ascension. And as for Yang Yang, well, I can't have a filter on him. Unfortunately, his filter was broken when he was 16 for me. So every time I look at him, I just like can't get any reaction. I would feel like a pedophile if I do. I'm just kidding. I'm not that much older, but the fact is, I knew him too young when he was like so young. So it just never works. I can't have that imaginary kind of like, you know. And that's that. 他的生存之道 Her, I've just mentioned the drama with Wang Chuanjun and Dou Jingtong. It's okay at the beginning, it gets odd later. Overall, not a very successful storytelling drama, and its aesthetic choices completely kicks me off because of its bad color grading. Or not bad color grading, it's more like too personality heavy and not making sense for a drama for. That one kicked me off. So that's Her, 她的生存之道 on Tencent. 锦月如歌 currently ongoing, which I've already kind of mentioned before, does not convince me of the character setup. Can't believe she can go into a military camp and nobody really thinks of her as her. And it's so set up just for romantic story to happen. It does not make sense. The first episode of editing is crap. Writing is also shitty. And then basically, I feel like it's insulting. It's insulting my intelligence and my integrity as a human if I keep giving it time and watching it. I don't think the drama respects me. Respect audiences. It doesn't think of audiences as humans. That's like female general. And it doesn't even have to go to like, let's talk about acting and whether Zhou Ye or Cheng Lei did a good job. It's like, no, like the script level is, the actor's effort almost in this case is irrelevant because on the writing level it's already, you know, doesn't matter who is the lead, it's just shit. So that's 锦月如歌. Maybe it will only ever live in people's mix edit. It's like if there's a cool shot and people looking pretty, maybe that's its only purpose of existence. On 爱奇艺 again, 定风波 Wanted Detective, 王新月、向涵之、张佑维, a couple of other people, 何洛洛 and 张楠, and yeah. I've watched until like, I think it's like episode 16, 17, 18, something like before 20. Around that time, I gave up. That drama is... First, on actor level, I don't think the female lead looks like a female lead. I think Xiang Hanzhi's problem is, in period dramas, it's impossible to make her look shockingly, stunningly female lead. In contemporary dramas, of like young adult romance, maybe it will work, like a normal city girl, like the one in 我的秘密室友 with Yang Xuwen. It will not work more normally, but in a period drama, she just does not stand out so much that she doesn't look like a female lead. No matter how hard I try to imagine and believe, I couldn't get convinced. Her performance is very, like it doesn't offer anything. And then the writing level of that drama, I think it's very not good writing and very stupid actually character setup. You see, actually it's a romantic story. It's just dressed up as a revenge and case breaking. If the romantic story is the core, what do people want in a romantic story? You want the development. You want something that starts and then it develops and then it twists and turns and it gets to the end, right? You need that journey. Yet they start with they are already engaged. It's like they grew up together. They're like meant for each other. Yes, there's like one misunderstanding happened between them that breaks them off for 3 years. They meet again, and pretty much immediately afterwards, they get back to where they used to be, which is like each other. So they always liked each other. So basically, the whole journey already happened before the drama even started. What am I in to watch the romantic plotline of Wanted Detective? It's like nothing really happens for the romantic line. It's already done before the drama started, and the rest of it is just to make sure that he doesn't die because he got poisoned accidentally by her. So the romantic line fails on the detective, like Wanted Detective from beginning. And then the cases are absolutely boring and slow as hell. And the male lead is written as a character who does not make sense. Because in a real world, if you get wronged like that and you've been on the run for 3 years and you come back and you immediately get poisoned accidentally, you're gonna be very pissed. Like, your life is getting threatened, right? And then there's so much frustration and you're wronged and you're very likely to die and not getting your name cleared while you're suffering all those physical, like whatever. Yet he's like so calm and saint-like. He's 圣父. He's like the lotus that's like glowing with the saint light. He doesn't blame the world, doesn't hate anybody. Like, he's about to die with that poison because the girl gave him the wrong pill, and he's like, I'm totally cool and calm and I am a saint. That's not a leading character of a story. There's no conflict and energy of the wanted detective. You are already complete a saint, like in Zhao Xuelu, the two leads, the female and male leads. They're already two perfect human specimens of saints. They're here to just shine their light on the planet, to light up everybody. They're Jesus Christ of stories, and why am I watching it? Okay, I know you're cool, move on, okay? It's such bad way of writing characters. I don't get it. Like, who is the genius that thought this is a great character? And I'll look at Wanted Detective and I'm just like ranting with my friend in industry who's a scriptwriter. I'm like, what the heck are they doing with this? Like, this is so stupid. And we're both like, unbelievable, unbelievable. And for actors who, if they got the full script before they actually signed up to this project and they think this is great, I would only say they need education. In playwright, in drama, in storytelling, they need to go to a freaking course about how to write a good story and recognize what you're looking at is a piece of shit. Don't waste your 4 months making a drama. It's not gonna add anything. You're just gonna have a couple of production shots of yourself dressed up in period drama clothing looking good. That's all you're gonna get at the end of it. So that's 定风波。暗潮昂爱起义，暗潮吉凶，beneath the undertow. I've already said 19 episodes. Same team of 13 Years of Dust. 陈若萱, 陈建斌, pretty good drama, worth watching. Yeah, it's very similar to 13 Years of Dust. If you like that one, you'll like this one. Sword Rose, I kind of also mentioned, 金世佳迪丽热巴, the human trafficking drama. One problem is it has a lot of redubbed parts where the mouth completely doesn't fit what they speak and it's odd looking. Another is it is focused on individual cases. It's like more on the cases than the characters themselves. So if you want to see anything like under the skin, where it actually has quite a heavy weight on the main leads, like Shen Yi, Du Cheng, the policeman, on themselves, on their personal and their relationship line, you're not going to get it in this drama. It's mostly still business instead of personal development. And it's in a way too proper. It's like too serious and too proper. And it kind of completely removes any kind of idol drama angle of looking at it. And it's not watchable, but you're gonna know the focus of the story is on all those cases themselves, not on the two leads. That's sword roles. And nobody really gives you like groundbreaking performances. For Diliro, but I feel like it's shot a couple of years ago. It's not now. It's back then. I think she's not doing a bad job, but there's nothing that shines really in this one. And I feel like she has this way of, in the drama, I feel like she's a little bit tired. In a way that, her character is under a lot of pressure and a lot of workload all the time. So if she looks tired, it's kind of making sense. But also, like, as an actress, I feel she's trying to move beyond what she's been doing for the last 10 years in idol drama land. She really, really tries hard, but I don't think she found the right way of doing it. So like there's a lot of effort, but there's very little result in her attempt, I'd say. I can feel like almost in a way of frustration from Diliro, but as an actress is, if I move away from idol drama, right? Like what is the trajectory for moving into more serious stuff? I don't think it's clear yet. And in this drama, you see really she tried, but almost like not knowing where to target. I have that feeling in her performance. And then she's still taking on idol drama roles these days. So, industry also doesn't really give you the opportunity. It's like you don't get offered roles that are in any way interesting, different from what you usually get. That's also a situation. Yeah, Diliro is a very interesting case. Maybe we can talk about her a little bit more later. We're gonna quickly talk about another one. iQIYI just finished. Not just finished, a couple of weeks ago finished, because it's so short. It's like 14 episodes. 正当防卫, Justifiable Defense. 高叶, Zhang Lusi, 白敬亭. That is also one case drama. It's like one older case, one current case. It's about justifiable defense. Well, it's not too bad, but it's not very, very great either. You can watch it. You probably wouldn't get too disappointed, but then you're not gonna get too satisfied either. It's that type of drama that everything is like so-so. Character, acting, storytelling, not bad, but then it's like you watch it, not watching it, watching it, not watching it, it's not gonna make much of a difference. That type of drama. It's very hard to say. It's forgettable. You watch it and you see, I actually finished watching 14 episodes and I forgot its existence. Before I sat down today writing down a list of dramas I've recently watched, this is the last one I got reminded. I'm like, oh yeah, I actually watched it. It's like 2 weeks ago I finished it, yet I completely forgot its existence. Like that's how not leaving a footprint that drama feels like to me. Given I've watched so much stuff, so it may work differently on other people since I constantly get new dramas. I just completely forgot I've watched it. That's how it feels. It's one case drama again. Those are the ones I've watched recently a lot since a Dream Within a Dream, and unfortunately most of the time spent was wasted. So I'll quickly run through all the currently ongoing ones that I've been watching. Don't spam the chat, please. Don't spam the chat. Spamming is not gonna do anything, okay? And I'm not a vending machine. As for the drama you're talking about, wait till it airs. I just want her to answer me. I was talking, I wasn't staring at the chat. I don't have all the attention of two heads, okay? That's the first thing. Second, it's a drama that hasn't even aired. What do you want me to say? Until it airs. 陈星璇迪丽热巴. The only good thing about it, like, makes me want to kind of watch it more than other things would be the director, because it's the same director who did Tianjin Mystic. Yeah. And I followed his Weibo since day one. So, I want to see what he can do cinematography-wise for the drama, but for the story, Wei Yu's story, Rattan, West Out of Yumen, like the Omen, there are a couple more, the Mengziyi one that hasn't aired, right? They're all in the same category. Somehow those stories and those characters never quite connected with me, but that's just me. If you want to know my opinion, I'm like, it hasn't even aired. What kind of opinion could I possibly have? I don't live in other people's brain, and I have no idea what's the platforms. I think it's on Tencent. I don't know the platform's plan. Depends on when they want to throw it out. I think it's ready. It can come out anytime. It just depends on what Tencent thinks about it. Two pretty people. It's Chen Xinxu and Di Reba, but whether it's gonna work, wait till it happens. First pick contemporary drama this year. It's tough. This year contemporary drama. How many good contemporary dramas have I had? I mean, so far Filter is the only one that I've really enjoyed in the contemporary drama category as a romantic drama. And in terms of like detective drama, that would be the recently just finished Beneath the Undertow. Anything else that's outstanding? Can't really think of one. Contemporary dramas this year so far, like yeah. So romantic one would be Filter, detective one would be Undertow. So far. Or the one that's like coming up to the front of my brain. It's been a low point for years. It's like since 2023, since 2023, pretty much after beginning of the year, everything is like downhill all the way to now. Although I'd say 一念关山 is a special thing, right? That happened at the end of 23. But then shitstorm happened to it afterwards, so... Jewelry. This is just Taobao. Very cheap plastic. It just looks like a lotus leaf. This is just normal, like little pearl I made myself. And these are just made myself. It's just like random beads. And I just grabbed them because they kind of fit the color. And they're cheap, very, very cheap thing. You go to like those jewelry shops to buy those stones, you know, in the chain, and you just like put them together yourself just for fun. So these are just like made by myself. You don't buy them, you just go to don't go to Michael's like if you're in Canada, because they're ridiculously expensive, right? Go to other places to find these random crystal stuff. Coroner's Diary, yeah. That script is like so archaic. It's like 20 years old. Even like 20 years ago, people wouldn't write story that's like that blatantly. And like it's odd to hear the lines coming out of like Ao Rui Peng and Li Landi's mouth, you know. And all this court politics stuff is ridiculous. It's so ridiculous that I looked at it, I laughed so much about how not making sense it is. fake like Chen Xinxu good. Chen Xinxu is a pretty good actor. But I think he doesn't fit certain types of roles that he's been playing for till now. And I don't think he's been correctly developed, let's say. He's good material, but he hasn't been really finding like the right thing for him to do. And often he gets basically, let's say he's a high power engine that gets offered by very meaningless and bad roles that doesn't actually use his full power, and in many ways actually impede him from showing his true power. That's Chen Xinxu. Why did Ray Peng accept supporting role in Seven Relics? Why not? Do you know how hard it is to get work these days? And why do you think he is by default leading man? Just because he's played a couple of leading men? In the entirety of the industry, I know he's got fans, you know, but it is just that. He's actually far from being fully recognized, I'd say, by the industry as a definitive, like, you never cast him as a second lead type of guy. He's far from that. And these days, the industry is really, really not doing well. If you're looking at how many projects each platform is doing right now, and then, like, proper, over 30 episodes, big drama, barely anything. Barely anything. Everyone is doing 12 episodes, 8 episodes, short dramas. Even older like actors who's been in dramaland for decades, they're moving to short dramas. Like Wang Likun, you know, believe it or not, she's like making short dramas. Previous long drama actors, they're all moving to short dramas because there's nothing to get. No offer, no crew opening, no new scripts getting made. People need to eat, so they all move to short drama, like short reel, Chinese version, TikTok, whatever, like Douyin, you know, you'd be lucky to get anything these days. And so you have to think about all the people who are lined up before him, who are in the industry for longer, who are from much sort of like more trained background, who's got more works in their portfolio, and who's got better connections, right? All those things considered. Even the top tier popular actors these days are not necessarily guaranteed anything. This is how bad Chinese dramaland has become. And he's like not the top choices of anyone. I can tell you that for sure. Because there are far more people lined up before him. It's cruel business. If I were a producer, I would consider who can make me the most amount of money, most safely and quickly. And I'd pick that person over anyone else. So Zhao Lusi, yeah, she started becoming an influencer. So she's basically live streaming constantly for the last couple of days. And she basically outright war with her agency, which is a company that's basically owned by Alibaba. So it's like the Youku line, Alibaba, Taobao, you know, all that side. So that company is basically owned by Alibaba, and then she signed with it initially, and then she actually renewed her contract with them 3 years ago. So like by her own choice. It's not like anybody forced her. So now she's still in the contract time, and she wants to break off. And two results. One is she did successfully manage to break off, but that would mean there's definitely legal cases going on, and then eventually she would have to compensate a certain amount of money, however much it ended up being. We don't know the details of her contract. It may be 10 times of her annual earning before this happens. It could be a set number before they even started this, like depending on that specific contract, which we don't know. But right now, if she wants to, like cut that off by paying off, then it's a lot of money. Probably she can't afford it. Now, there's another thing. I think legally, what you can do is you say you are basically not under the condition to fully carry out the contract. In this case, being she's sick, and so when you're sick, you can't do it anymore, and it's like you cannot. It's not your. It's like 不可抗, right? It's like you can't. It's like a natural disaster, you know. A tsunami happened, it takes out the whole studio, and it's not your responsibility. If you argue with that, and you can also break off the contract, but that basically means you kill your career. Because now, from now on, you cannot basically get signed up with other agencies, right? Because other people are like, well, you're sick, and we don't want a mentally person to be our. So if she does that, if she succeeded at doing that, then she would not need to probably pay that much money. But then that means also suicide with actress career. She would have to do other things. If she wants to be an influencer, I mean, that she can do probably on her own. But in terms of becoming an actress and doing roles and sign up with agents and getting offers, and that's not gonna work anymore. So if she wants to break off with a company, it will be either pay that money and through some legal effort, maybe she can reduce the amount that she's gonna pay, or she's gonna basically kill her career and get off clean. I think those are the two possible ways if she wants to break off. And obviously there's another way, is like they get a deal, they don't really break off. She still gets signed up until the end of that contract, which every year, usually it's 10 years contract. That's how this business functions in China. So if she signed up 3 years ago again, then there's 7 years to go. So that's like on the legal side of things. In terms of herself, honestly, from me, an older woman who, although is not an actress, who did see something in the industry, from my point of view, I just feel like she's too fortunate and too unfortunate at the same time. Too fortunate being she got famous quite early on, okay? Too unfortunate is also the same thing. Your brain doesn't get fully developed until you're 25. People who get too famous too early on and who are not matured enough, usually, I mean, it comes with age, yes, but some people are just naturally, when they're young, they're also very, very matured, right? Some people are not. If you're very young and you get famous and you're not yet really fully developed, you're not quite sure about who you are, really. Like, you don't have very good sort of psychological barrier you've built up against the noise of the world. You get easily manipulated and used. If you're unfortunately at the same time being surrounded by people who all want to get a cut of you, they want to suck your blood, they're vampires in every sense. And it could be your friends, it could be your agents, a company that sign you up, people you meet who are having power in the industry, even your relatives, people who are literally kinship people. Very common in entertainment business, right? You get famous too early, you're not sure about who you are, you're not that kind of a mature person to start with, you get surrounded by vampires, this is what happens to you. She's very, very much that case. So she's fortunate and very unfortunate. That's my opinion. Based on what I observe, I think she's being surrounded by vampires. And herself is not clear-headed enough to see through that. And people can pull her strings very easily. So this is what happens now. It's like the combined results of too many things. Now it's all entangled into this mess. She can't get herself out. That's what it is. Early days when she first started in the industry, right? I think she had a little bit, like she has that energy that I really do like. Now it's completely gone. Like if you look at her even before her Tiger and Rose, even before that, compare the energy of her back then, right? Look at her, whatever variety show, what she looks like, that, and look at what she looks like now in live streaming. I think she was too young and she doesn't know like who she is and what she wants and what is good and bad for her. She has no clue. And everything she's done to herself, like even like losing that huge amount of weight and all the face, like you can see it clearly she did something. All those things happened, I think, because there's so much noise around her telling her you're not pretty enough, you're not skinny enough, there's something wrong with your this and that, and then everything affects her. She cares about it so much that she goes and messes up herself. That and I think in live stream, like recent live stream, she says actually she's currently 40 kilo. 40 kilo. And she says this is ideal weight for making a drama. Like she says if I get offered a role, like actually this is a perfect way to show up on camera. You know, I know there are a lot of actresses who are underweight like crazy. But the fact that she thinks being very lightweight at this point, right, 40 kilo, is a perfect weight for camera. It's like sickly to think that that's the consensus of the industry right now in China. But also, you know, like that's her idea about what makes her fitting for camera. Or just like being of that way. I just really hope there could be a really wise and good person around her that she can actually get to her and she can actually listen to. But I don't think there's a person like that around her. She's so... What a sad case. Yeah, 40K is, in China is 80 jing. 40K in pound is about under 90 pound, just, I think. I mean, given she's not tall, I think she's under 160 centimeter. She's like 1.5 something. Like she wouldn't be much different from my height, maybe even shorter. Like, because I'm not 160. And I tell you what. At the lowest point, I mean, I'm not a very skinny person to start with. At my lowest point after I become an adult was when I already was very skinny at the time, and then I spent 10 days in the temple eating 1 meal a day, not having air conditioning in the hottest summer in Xi'an. And so I basically sweat from morning till evening, and I was like in the... like this meditation going on, so you're like sweating like a pig from morning till evening for 10 days. I sauna'd 10 days without air conditioning in 38-40 degree summer, eating 1 meal a day for 10 days. I came out of that, I was 46. That's the lowest possible weight I've ever gotten in my whole lifetime after 18-year-old. And then it lasted 2 days. Once I got back to normal eating, all the water, like the carb, water retention just went back. And the 46 number always happened, like in my lifetime, only for 2 days. And that was already at a point where I don't think it's possible for me to lose any more weight unless I decide to kill myself and starve to death. Then before I die, I'd probably be lighter than that. But no way would I ever get to 40 kilo when I'm alive, okay? It's just not gonna be possible. And already when I was 46, people who know me look at me and are like, you're too skinny. I'm like, so to me, I can't imagine somebody my height, normal, being 40. I'm like, how, like, where are you gonna cut the extra weight off your body, right? Like, where? You're gonna remove some organ? Cut off a leg, maybe? There's nothing to... I mean, there are people who are naturally very skinny, so if they always have been, they have that gene, and their bones are like actually light and small framed, I think maybe it's possible, right, for you to be normally, even if you don't try, you're like 45 or 43, something like that. But like under 40 and still be normal is not normal. You literally can eat a little bit more salt one day and tomorrow you're gonna get 2 kilos more water, just water in you, because it's chemistry. And I'm like, wow, that's so insane, the industry. If you're that underweight, you cannot be normal thinking. Your mental state is gonna be heavily affected because your hormone level is gonna be all out of whack. And if your hormone is out of whack, you're not gonna be able to think straight. Your emotion is gonna be shitty. You can't control your anger. You don't know what you're thinking. Your thoughts are unclear. You're gonna be psychologically impacted by the fact that you're too low weight and your hormones are fucked. There are people who are naturally skinnier than others, yes, but they always have been. It's like their set point is low. They're naturally highly metabolism like active, or they just don't like food. Like I've known people in my life who really don't like food. You wouldn't believe, but they exist. And there's a good friend of mine many years ago. She's super skinny, and I observe, first she eats super slow. Like with chopsticks, she eats rice by grain. She's like picking one grain and eating it. And she always have been doing that. She just doesn't eat fast. No matter how, so her meal is like 1 hour starting time. Like not gonna be shorter than that. She can't eat fast. She cannot, no matter how hard you try, she just doesn't do it fast. And then she gets full very quickly. And she doesn't like chewing. you wouldn't, but sometimes when like you just eat that's enough. And she's like, it's exhausting. Like when I chew, I feel like my cheeks are like work too much. I'd rather not eat because chewing is too much of an effort. She'd rather not eat. I really have met people like that. So they're skinny, and I'm like, yeah, obviously, if you're like that, you cannot get fat. Because if she wants to eat the same amount of food that's gonna make you fat, she's gonna have every meal 4 hours. So the whole day she'll be like a cow, grazing all the time, not having time to do anything else. And that totally cannot happen. So that's why they're skinny, because they don't have that much time to eat, and they don't want to eat. And there are people like that I've met. Although they're very rare, they do exist, okay? I've met only one girl like that in my lifetime. I mean, in my like middle school, there's one girl who counts rice. There's another girl who thinks chewing is exhausting. So they're very skinny, very, very skinny. They're like they have Li Yitong arm, you know, like the tiny arm. Like you can just like grab their arm by 2 fingers. Like they're normal, and the not liking chewing girl, she's super smart. She's like top 1 class and full mark mathematics and physics type of girl. So her brain definitely functions. There's like nothing impeding her functioning, but she just doesn't like eating. Genetics. What can you say? Genetics. And there are people who are very picky either. If it's not to their liking, they'd rather starve and not eat than eat something they don't like. There are people like that too. Very, very picky. Very, very picky. And they eat very limited type of food. It's like, I don't eat fish. I don't eat things with scale. I don't eat that. I don't eat that. I don't eat that. I only eat this. If this thing is not here, I'd rather not eat. And then they get skinny too. But if you've ever been more normal weight, look at Zhao Lusi when she first started the industry. Before even Chen Qianqian, before that she was in variety shows, I think, right? She was in a lot of variety shows. Look at her back then. That was long before she lost all the weight. If she's normally that weight, it means she's a normal appetite person. She's not the type of counting rice eating person. And look at what she looks like now. That's a lot of effort. I mean, I have to give her that. It's like fighting against hunger is one of the hardest things you can do because it's against your survival instinct. You're fighting the chemistry. Thank you for super chat. Rainia, you don't have to do that, but thank you. If you're typing out anything. Question. Yet now, like, look at what she's... As for other things, whether she's done, I have no idea. I'm not psychic. But it wouldn't be surprising me if she did other things that are, let's say, not normal things, you know, like beyond our dimensional observation things, which actually is very common for entertainment business in Asia. In China, other places, I don't know, but in China it's very, very common. And previously a lot of Hong Kong people do it. Now it kind like, and then it got like bled into mainland. A lot of people in music, acting, entertainment business don't tamper with it things so that they get more fame, money. They exchange things for that. And it's well known. It's like drug problems, prostitution problems, all those things is actually very common in entertainment business. 70-80% of people actually have something to do with it. It just depends on who gets caught. And you don't talk about it publicly, but they have clubs. They have, like, think about the Wi Fan thing, right? When it got actually exposed. And it's just normal conduct in the industry. Which is why usually, you know, I always suggest people not go fan people. Because you don't know what they do behind the scene. So for those things, right, whether that may affect what she's like today, I cannot say for sure. I'm not a psychic. I can't tell that myself. But if it is like in any way, I wouldn't be surprised. Because in this industry, it's so common. It's so common. There are plenty of things you can do in that world. Particularly, I think in Southeast Asia, there are a lot of well-known places and people and ways and rituals and stuff you can do and get, and you exchange it for something. Like you get more money, fame, but then there will be payback. Basically, it's not going to be free. This is very common. So if that's involved, it could also explain to some level why things just changed so much for her over the 7-8 years since she came on the scene. Wouldn't be the first person. Yeah, Asian dramaland. I mean, if you look at Taiwan, Hong Kong particularly, they're very famous for a lot of people doing that. And I think it bled into mainland later. So common. It's actually so common in the industry. Yeah, like doing stuff for getting quick fame, money, whatever. You basically you sign a deal with some kind of spirit or whatever. Like they're like not in this dimension. They can do things for you. I mean, but usually incur surprise. It's not weird, you know. Like don't give me question marks because that's so well known in the industry. And it's not just now. It's like years and years ago. Everyone kind of knows and just don't talk about it. Thailand is very famous for it. Let's just put it that way. If you know what I'm talking about. You know, it's one form. Like somebody typed it out, but it's just one form. There are multiple different ways, different things. It's just one very common thing, and it's not even like that. It's so common actually. Someone just typed that it's like one of the basic forms you can do. But there are other things, okay, and they temper with things and. So, I I'm saying I don't know, but if it has anything to do with that level and that type of things, and then it wouldn't be very surprising. You know, well, what is happening now? It's not a wise thing to do, but a lot of people do it. What can you say? Entertainment business is a far more messier business than if you're just a normal person, you're right, like you'd find a lot of things. If you really find out, you're like, what the heck? But it is the pinnacle of fame and vanity of human existence, right? The forms of existence you can have. And it wouldn't be surprising to see people in this business who have relationships and tampering with those things. And overall, it's very unhealthy. If you get to the top of the industry, not by using any of those things, in a way, it means you've collected a lot of good karma in your past. So there's like the level of protection around you. You don't get in contact with that world. You don't get manipulated. People who want to actually do something cannot. Also, there's this whole thing about if you have an ancestral kind of good karma in your family line, and there are people quotation mark protecting you, that also can be something. And some of those like famous people who climb to the top, they do have, in a sort of shamanic sense, right? They have their ancestry inherited, let's say, protectors who are also not humans. And it's like the ancestral family good karma that comes down to their generation benefit them. There are also people in the industry who definitely have that. And I mean, some psychic people can tell. And I'm not psychic, but I think there are a couple of people who are very clearly, even when you're not psychic, you can tell there's definitely power behind them, helping them out. And they would have traits, like those people would have clear traits that constantly reminds you. If you think about certain actors, actresses, who would remind you of animal, very clearly, everybody kind of agrees they look like that animal. Usually that means in their ancestral family background, there's this spirit that's from that animal origin who are kind of powerful, and they have like a contract with the family, or they owe debt to this line. So they're always in the background kind of helping out. That's also very common. I know this sounds weird, but it's actually not that weird. There are a couple of regions in China that is famous for that, and it's almost a common knowledge. For example, if you go to northeast China, Dongbei, you know, Dongbei, the cold part that's like Winnipeg. This local sort of culture and knowledge of having a family protector of other species spirits is like so common. And there's like even like the common knowledge of really funny is if you walk on the street at night or whatever, you run into a guy or a woman who somehow randomly asks you, what do I look like? This is like a really common knowledge, particularly for northeastern people. They would say, be nice and say you look very pretty, you look like a nice guy, nice girl. Because if they ask that question, they're usually not human. And it's one of their cultivation to basically try to pass for a human. So they turn a human form and they literally ask a human. If the human agrees they look like human, they kind of succeed. So you help them. Like if you do that, they will thank you. They owe you a debt. But if you tell them they don't look like human, they're fucked and they're gonna hate you forever. And so there's this common knowledge of you, if you come across some being who randomly asks you that type of question, be nice. It's gonna be good for you. And it's like the very well-known thing about, if you go to Dongbei, China, it's so well-known. Everyone knows about that. Also, like in the northern China, people are very highly aware of not to hurt animals of a couple of species, including weasel, hedgehog, snake, fox, and it's like the 5 roughly species of animals. If you come across them, don't do anything to them. So fox, weasel, snake, hedgehog. What else? Often you don't know what you, because they actually may not just be that. They're like in the phase of cultivation. They have powers. If you like, you know, you grab one, you capture one, you hurt one. It's really funny because I've got a cousin. When he was young, he was very, very like a naughty child. He once caught a hedgehog and then he put him under a basin. So he's got a basin. He covered the hedgehog in the basin and put it under his bed. The next day, the hedgehog disappeared and the basin didn't move. And it didn't got topped over and there's no noise. So first, you don't know how the hedgehog got out, and it's concrete floor. It's not like the hedgehog can dig a hole. But the hedgehog disappeared. And that afternoon, he fell from his bunk bed and broke his leg, and he was like in bed for a month. And the mother, like the funny thing is, his mother was like, told you, you shouldn't grab the hedgehog. Like a hedgehog, weasel, foxy, you don't mess up with them. You have no clue what you've done, but the hedgehog disappeared and he broke his leg. And it's my real cousin and real story. And we often talk about it in the family. And he was in Beijing, he was in Beijing outskirts at the time, not in Dongbei, but the northern people have a lot of stories like that. Because I think Chinese, like northern regions, has a very heavy sort of shamanic inheritance. Think about like Korean. Like Korea actually has this tradition too. It's in that region. A lot of passed down kind of stuff that's like pretty well known. I mean, my cousin didn't kill the hedgehog, didn't really harm it. He was just like, he grabbed one, right? He wants to keep it as a pet. So maybe breaking a leg is just like punishment. I know, but the hedgehog did disappear. As in, they never figure out how it got out. It was in a just overturned like a metal. There's no hole. There's no like, and there's no noise. If it got out, how, right? So it just disappeared. And the hedgehog disappeared. I would never say it's superstition. There's although personally I'm not psychic and I don't see any of those by my own eyes and ears, and I can't get any, but I've encountered enough weird things in my lifetime to know it's not real. I've had like very, very deep sort of like diving into, say, the Buddhism community in China in the 2010s. I've seen plenty of things to the point I'm like, yeah, cool, move on. I know all those things exist. It's just like I don't see it, but I know it's there because there are people who see it and who tells me. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, I know now. I've got colleagues who have like psychic abilities and telling me things. I'm like, no way. She's like, is that case? I'm like, yes. Okay, cool. and then I don't actually envy them because they have such a hard life, the actual psychics. There's a colleague of mine many years ago who is so psychic that she doesn't get married because she cannot. It's impossible for her to live with another human being. She gets affected by energies too easily. To what point was like she doesn't go on the street at night when it's sundown. She would be staying at home because she says, when I go on the street at night, I cannot tell often the people who are walking towards me, are they humans or are they not? Because sometimes they're not. And the thing is, if they are not and I see them, they know I see them. Sometimes they'll come to me and I don't want to get bothered. And so she doesn't go on the street at night because she just constantly gets that visit. And she is like, every year, 80% of the time, she's having a cold. She's constantly having a cold because she always gets affected. So she's always having a cold. 80% of the time of her time, like she can't do anything about it. I'm like, that's not a good life. You don't want that. She lives in a ghost movie. And also, like, for her, it's so hard to find a place to live. Because she doesn't buy places, she rent. Because, you know, like the land that gets developed today, right? If you count back far enough, it's a tomb. It's a graveyard. There are that many humans that have been buried. You just don't know what graveyard it is. But she often is like, I moved to a new apartment. I usually sign a short contract to make sure I can live there. If not, I'll have to move. She's like, she goes to a place and it used to be a graveyard that gets developed. The first night she was there, she gets visited by a couple. And the next day it's like doubles the amount. She puts like all kinds of like Buddha's statue everywhere in her room and it's quiet for 2 days and then more stuff come out. And they come to her when she's asleep and they annoying her. Like they pull on her clothing. She says like they just like push you and then you wake up. So you can't even sleep well. And she's like, I've lived in apartments like that so many times. It's like I have to constantly move to places where overall like there's no disturbance. I'm like, that's not a life you want. I mean, that's so messed up. And if you're gifted with that, do you want to return a gift? I'm like, oh my God, I can't imagine how you live. So she's like, she's into Buddhism. She does that. And a lot of that is for her own protection because she gets so bombarded by stuff constantly. And she's a colleague of mine. And there's no reason why she would lie to me at all. And she works in that place is because it's like a Buddhist tied kind of organization. Because she told me stuff that nobody else could ever know. It's not code reading. I guarantee you it's not code reading because it's such a specific event that happened in my lifetime. It only happened once and it's a very weird thing. And you'll never be able to make up a story like that because it's so unusual. And it's just one little thing that happened in my life. And I moved on from it for years. I have never thought about it. And then one day she came up to me and she told me, did that happen in your life? I'm like, yes. She's like, that thing is still here? I'm like, okay, what do we do? Because we were in Buddhism, kind of like, so we know the rituals. So we did a ritual to send it off and it got sent off. I mean, it didn't bother me. In terms of like, was I affected by that thing? No. But she's like, I can see it. And she's like, did it happen like that? I'm like, yeah, it did happen. It's accident. I accidentally hit something completely not intentional because I couldn't, like, I didn't see it. It just happened. I'm like, yeah, but that's like 10 years ago. She's like, yeah. She's like, I can see it. I'm like, okay. And then, because at the time I was so familiar with like all the sutras in Buddhism that usually gets used to, let's say, send off stuff, right? So we're like, let's do one. So I was like, I still remember that evening. It's so funny. We're on the balcony and we're like doing all that and we did that and she's like, yeah, it's gone. I'm like, okay. Good, I don't see it. It's so good, I don't see it. It's for a decade. I have no idea it's around, but good to know. Good to know. And see, like I don't see it myself, but I've met plenty of people who see it every day. It's like eating breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's like that to them. So I will never be surprised by any of those supernatural, quotation marks, supernatural things because I've lived through too many of them. And it's mostly just like you're born with it. You either have it or not. I've met people who clearly since they were born know that they are a certain type of, like in Chinese astrology, we call it 童子, which is the child, which is basically you're from the higher dimension, kind of like your heaven, whatever, celestial. And they are like the servant girl of the powerful whatever being, and who ran to human world for fun. They're kind of like kids skipping school. They jumped out for a brief time because time flows differently, and they're here to have fun, but they kind of ran here not by proper sort of like going through procedure. So they will get caught eventually and pull back. And this type of chart, you can read it in their Chinese chart. And there's this girl I met in my life who, since she was born, her whole family knows, because she's one of those person who would walk out at night and get annoyed and get scared and scream and cry because she sees everything. So they did a lot of rituals when she was younger to make sure that she no longer sees those things, so that she can live functionally, normally. Otherwise, she's not gonna just be able to even do anything. But they all know she has that chart, which is classic 童子命. 童子命, it's not like the Western indigo child. It's more like you're actually not supposed to be a human. You're like but you skipped school and you ran to human world, and you're gonna get discovered by your teacher and you whatever, like the bigger bosses up there, and they're gonna pull you back, and then it's very common. Anyway, it's really fun. So I met a girl like that. She has strongest weird reaction when we go to the Buddhist mountain in China, which is Wutaishan, the 5 platform, very famous for very famous Bodhisattva Wenshu in China. You would know that it's one of the most wealthy Buddhism mountain these days, because so many people go there. And I've gone there twice. Anyway, the first time I went with her and another friend, and the other 2 friends I've had, somehow this turned into a weird chat, but hey, who cares? It's my weird live stream. I'm just telling you real stories that happened in my life. We went there, I think it was like around 2010, something like that. 3 of us, 3 girls. And both of the other 2 girls, they've had really weird things happening to them. Physically, to their body, and also when they go to sleep, they see things in their dream they never saw before when they were up in the mountain. And I was like, nothing happened to me. Like, I can't see anything. I don't feel anything. I'm like so normal. I don't get affected by anything. There's just one temple that I went with them. The moment I walked in, I feel like it's just uncomfortable. So I got out. And I asked another friend. And she's like, I also don't feel good. So we didn't go in. But I don't know what it is, but it's like nothing epic. It's just like suddenly you just don't feel well, so you leave. That's the only thing that happened to me on that trip. But for the other 2 girls, oh my god, like the child chart girl, she had her periods there that shouldn't happen, which is like, it's not her time for her periods. But when she got there, it's like she went into the toilet and she comes out and she's like, I got my periods, but it's not this time. It's wrong. It's completely wrong. And I'm not even prepared. And then we had to run to places to get her stuff. And that's just one thing. And after that trip for 3 days, when we leave, if you leave from Wutaishan, you will know there's only one way, public transportation, which is you leave from that town's train station. So it's a train station at the town, which is under the mountain. You have to first leave the mountain region. You go to this place. There's like a couple of trains going by, and you go on one of the trains. And like, I don't know if it today is still like that, but back in 2010s, that's the only way public transportation. Either you drive yourself or you leave by the train. Anyway, so our train was like late. It's like 10, 11 p.m. So before that, we have to eat something, wait there till the train comes. So that evening, when we were in the mountain, because it's a Buddhist mountain, pretty much everything we ate was, you can go to restaurants and eat normally, but if you're in the temple, you basically eat everything vegetarian. So there's no meat in any sense. So we've had 3 days of vegetarian food. When we left that evening, we were in the restaurant waiting for the train. And we ordered hot pot, and it's meat, right? It's like lamb stuff. I was fine. The other friend was fine. This child chart girl, this is the first time I've witnessed in lifetime somebody who gets meat drunkenness. Apparently it's a thing, which is you eat meat, you get drunk, just like when you had alcohol. She literally had 1 piece of lamb. We saw her like eating that, and almost instantly afterwards, she's like paralyzed. Her face is like red. It's like she's drunk, and she's like, I'm drunk, because she said it's exactly the same feeling when you get really, really drunk. But she didn't have any alcohol, and it's just 1 piece of meat. and we ate the same thing. Me and another friend were like, we're totally fine. And she's like this. She's like this on the table. She couldn't get up. And she was like for hours. Couldn't get up. And she's like, I'm so drunk. I can't move. We're like, okay. So we eat and she's just like drunk from one piece of meat. And she was like there for 3 hours or 2 hours before she could literally stand up. And then we got on the train and left. So that's the first time I witnessed meat drunkenness. That apparently can happen. And that's the only, no, it's not allergic reaction. It's not. Because she eats normally. Like, before she got to the mountain, she eats lamb fine. And if the food has some problem, we should have some kind of reaction, the other two of us. We ate the whole thing, we're fine. And she, like, previously, she eats lamb just like a normal person. And she's like, I never had this. We order food because we know we can eat them, right? But that's the only time I've seen it. And she also, like, she told me it's like the first time it happened to her, which is like she had a whole whatever Buddhism mountain experience, and then she comes back and she eats meat and she boom, and she just goes. And the following up of the story is even more dramatic. This child girl, I'm not a good friend with her. She's a good friend with the other friend. So 3 of us went there. I know this girl better. I don't know her that well, and they know each other well. So after this trip together, we never met again in our lifetime. That's the only time, first time we met. I still have a photo of her in my old photo like world, and I have to. Yeah, one day I should dig it out and see her. Anyway, long story short, I never met her again. About a year later, the other friend told me this girl died. And how she died was absolutely, unbelievably not normal. So, in the sense that it's like her chart, it's like she's not supposed to be a human, but she skipped class, right? So she got pulled back. And that's what we consider to be a 童子 chart, getting pulled back. She was in a car with 3 other people. She's sitting at the back. So there's a driver. She's like the 4th person. And it got hit by another car from the back. And it hit right on her spot. So the car came right at that angle at her seat. The other 3 people in the car didn't even get a scratch. She got killed instantly. She was like dead the moment it hit. So it didn't even get to hospital. She was like dead, gone. Like 1 second. I only met this girl once in that trip. Didn't know her before. And then 1 year later she died. And we all know she has that chart, and she knows that too. And one very clear sign of that type of chart is if they get entangled in any type of romantic relationship, it doesn't end well. And in a way, they're not supposed to get married. If they get married, they almost like instantly they will die. Or they will run into some accident, they will get pulled out. She has that chart, she knows that. And she's a very tall, kind of model-like figure. She's not super pretty by face, but she gets endless pursuers in her 30 years of life. She died on her 30s. Like, I think she's 30 when she died. Anyway, before that, she was a model, and she gets like all kinds of attention from men of all age group, from young, from old. She gets constantly chased after by guys. And because she knows her chart, she's like, I'm not gonna get married and in any sense, because it's not gonna end well for people with that type of chart. If they get married, they almost always just but she didn't get married, yet she still got like literally pulled out when she was 30. I mean, you can think of it as it's still a quick and easy death because she pretty much didn't suffer. It's just like 1 second gone. But my encounter with her was like, yeah, okay, people like that exist in this world. What can you say? Now I went to Taishan, not Taishan. Taishan is a different. Taishan is more on the Taoism side of things because the Taoism power presence is very strong there. It's one of those. If you have like unfair things happen to you, you can go to Taishan and literally pray to the tribunal there. There's a very powerful presence, and if it's justified, it actually can help you. Taishan is very well known for that. And also in Chinese history, Taishan is the place where emperors go to get basically recognized by heaven. But you have to be a good enough emperor to even dare try that. So not all the emperors have, they know they're not qualified, so they wouldn't go because they don't deserve it, actually. Only the really, really kind of like well-recognized emperors dare go there. And I think after which emperor, they stopped doing that for forever because, I don't know, for whatever reason, but Taishan is well known for that. That's in Shandong province. It's like Taoism heavy presence. Wutai is Buddhism. Wutai is in Shanxi. And China has 4 major Buddhism mountains. Wutaishan is one. Jiuhuashan is one. Putuoshan is another. And then Emeishan. So there are 4, and it represents the 4 major in Chinese Buddhism, the Bodhisattva, the 4 Wenshu, Guanyin, Puxian, Dizang. Yeah, Buddhism stuff, you can ask me anything. If it's mainland China Buddhism, I know a lot because I was like really, really, really deep in it long time ago. So I've run into a Tongzi chart, which is literally you can call it a virgin chart. Literally, it's like a child or virgin chart person. And they basically cannot get entangled with human, basically sex, romance, any of that. They're not supposed to have that. If they have that, they usually like... anything else cool about those stories? You know, so after all those, like if you tell me some star celebrity, they have like kind of spiritual guard from their ancestry, inherited, whatever, I'm like, oh, okay, normal. And if they have a really powerful and good one, over time you can see from this actor or actress's face of that particular spirit's character. It's very, very easy to spot, actually. Think about certain actors and actresses. Almost instantly, you look at them, you think of an animal. And they're very successful, and usually that's the case. That's like that energy is in the background. And there are not many different species in terms of, because usually it's limited to a couple of species like snake, fox, weasel, the couple of well-known species that have that kind of cultivation advantages, let's say, over other species. It's very well known. Somebody typed, you wonder if that person has one? I cannot see it myself. I don't have psychic ability, but I have a good feeling about what that is. And I also talk to other people about this. I'm like, I think it might be. Do you think? They're like, yep. And they kind of see things. So I'm like, okay. And it's a good thing. Because these type of beings, right? Some of them are long time cultivated. They're actually good, and they're very powerful. And they're ones that are not very powerful and not very old. You know, so depends on. It's kind of like tied to your family history. Say if your ancestors have done something for them, like a good big favor, so they would basically pay back by protecting the descendants. It's a very common thing. And for those beings, life is not like like one lifetime, like 50 years, 60 years, you're dead. They're hundreds of years, thousands of years old. So to them, time is like not in sense the same thing. So it's likely he's got like inheritance. Whether he's aware, I have no idea. And it may well be that the person who gets like benefited from that don't know that at all. If they're not psychic themselves and their family never told them, and like when it gets passed down, sometimes it may be certain things happen and the information doesn't get passed down. So even like the later generations have no clue about that has happened in their family history. They don't know, and they're not psychic. They don't see it. They can't tell, but it doesn't change the fact that there's something following them. Animal thing applied to 猴戏帅哥. I don't think so. It's not the particular type of, let's say, like the look, like Wang Hedi and Ao Ripeng, they got caught, and Ding Yuxi caught like looking like a monkey, right? It's not that. It's not that. It's the not necessarily a set appearance, but it's like the energy. It's like behind the eyes, particularly like how they look at people. The eye has that. It's hard to describe, but it's not necessarily, yeah. I don't know about whether they believe or whether it weakens. Like, I mean, there could be basically a type of, if I owe this family a huge debt, I need to pay it back with that amount of work, right? So if I haven't completed that amount of work, I still owe you. Whether you believe me or not, actually it doesn't affect the fact that I have to get it done. Otherwise, I owe you a debt. It's not going to be good for me. And also, it may be like over thousands of years or hundreds of years. You watch their children grow. You kind of like have attachment too. It's like, I know them so well for hundreds of years. I know his father, I know like his grandfather, great-grandfather. It's fun to look at, you know, people copy genetic traits. And it's like, yeah, you do that exactly like your grandpa. I mean, and they may be having fun, who knows, to do that. And ultimately, I think it would be good for their cultivation. So they do it. It's like if I owe you money debt and I have to pay you back, otherwise, you know, I owe you. It does not mean I have to like you. I still have to pay back, right? Similar things. This is very common in China, and particularly well known in northeastern China, Dongbei area, because Dongbei has this whole tradition of Huang Daxian. They call it yellow Daxian, immortal, white immortal. They represent different animals. It's just so normal. Like, do you remember many years ago there's a Ren Jingtian Hu drama like set in North China, literally called Huang Pi Zifen, the tomb of the yellow weasel. Because Pizi and weasel is a well-known some northeastern, that type of spirit. If you watch the drama, you remember, and it's about that. So you're not supposed to basically hurt certain kind of animals, fox, weasel, hedgehog, all that, because they kind of have like special positions in the cultivation of animal land. I think fox gets a special treatment because I remember in Taoism history, there was a powerful being in Taoism who really liked fox. So they did something to the species of fox to allow fox to cultivate a lot more easier than other animals. Therefore, a lot of foxes actually have this ability. I think that's the story. I can't remember exactly what happened, but it's like a Taoism tradition, and it's due to somebody really liked foxes. So foxes have a special. I don't know if it applies to foxes on other continents. I don't know if it, for example, works in North America. I have no clue. I don't know how the jurisdiction works up there for like cutting this part of the land is my domain. I have no idea how they work. I think there are different power groups in this involved, but in China, foxes, probably in Asia, I think, on that continent at least. I mean, there will be similar things, like say in Korea, because Korean, like the top part is like connected to the northeast of China, same geo region. They have similar shamanic, not exactly the same, but if you look at Korea's traditional belief before Christianity and any of that came to China, even Confucius teaching, before that, the original Korean belief is very shamanic. They still do it today. There's so many shamans in Korea, you know that, right? All those women who predict which celebrity falls in love with which one. You've watched that a lot in Korean televisions. And Korean tradition is extremely, like the matriarch. The matriarch thing actually still exists, like in a weird way later in its culture. And that's all tied to the very, very old much older belief. And shaman is a huge thing in Korea, and even till today in their practice. And it's like, think about it, it's same geo region of Chinese northeastern. So it wouldn't be surprising if you have like all those foxes and stuff like jumping everywhere. And entertainment business, people have like all kinds of insecurity. So when you're insecure, you go to these things to look for comfort, for confirmation, for help. And what happens, you know? So it wouldn't be very surprising. And some of those spirits are actually quite adorable, although I don't see them. But I've heard stories about them. I'm thinking, oh, that's so cute. And so there's that type, and there's good and evil, and there are people who do things in the wrong way. It's like black magic. You can think of that does exist. So it depends on, you know, if your protection is strong enough. Also, like, don't get surprised if the stars, the celebrities, don't have public birthday. They lie about their birthday for good reason. Sometimes it's not just to make themselves look younger or whatever. It's actually an extra layer of protection to muddle the water so that people cannot guess their chart easily. Because if people actually get the accurate chart, people can do bad things. It's again real. And it's like 斗法. It's like, who is stronger, right? If they do something, can you counter? Do you have a stronger enough team to counteract that? So ideally, you don't expose your real birthday, our birthday, for that reason. So if you see somebody's public birthday, if it's not real, on the surface, it may be I just try to appear to be younger. For example, like 3 years younger, 5 years younger. But there might be another reason, is they're trying to hide their real birthday from bad people. My friend has webbed fingers. You know, there is the, in Buddhism, it's been written at least as true record, which is Buddha has webs. Buddha doesn't have like a 5 finger like us, like web between fingers. He has 4 knuckles, supposedly them 3. And he's got a mark in his, on his foot that is like an imprint. It's like seal. So it's not smooth skin, it's like a mark. Anything else Buddha has? Buddha has like this thing in his forehead, which is like a hair that circles around. And supposedly his hair is actually not hair, it's meat. It's flesh, like the little balls is actually flesh. So in today's, our way of looking at it, if all that is real, you can say Buddha is actually an alien. He might not be a human. At least like parts not human. Who knows? Ancient time, could be. There are plenty of ancient civilization that talks about people who have like different build, like the kings who are 3 meters tall, who lives 1,000 years. What if they're just aliens, right? They're not human. Their genetics are different. Could totally be. I don't think like for Siddhartha, if it's all real, like he's a normal human, because he's supposedly he walked after he got born, like immediately. The 7 steps he took when he, like if he actually, if that's real, and if he actually came out of the rib cage instead of the mother, if it's real, the easiest way to explain that way is alien. not human, so they don't get born the same way, they don't function the same way. I wouldn't be surprised by any of that. Like, to me, it was like, okay, cool. The world is much crazier than you think, I think. That's what it is. Ultimately, these things are just shu. The idea between shu and dao. So I don't know how do you explain that, because always when you translate into a different language, it loses parts of the meaning. Let's say everything you can do humanly to manipulate anything is shu. Shu is like techniques, right? Techniques you do to get some result. And there are high techniques, there are low techniques. They're good and bad. They're highly practiced, really good, and then they're like not very well done. Let's say that's just the skills of a surgeon who cuts things and fix you. That's on the technicality kind of level. So all the manipulation, let's say in that realm, if you have like whatever protecting spirit behind you to do that, those are in the shu department, the technique department. But then on the other hand, like behind that, what runs the universe in its basic, let's say, code is Dao, which is Taoism's Tao, which is also translated as way. You can say the way of being or the fundamental rules of the universe. And that's ultimately deciding everything. If you only have techniques, you only have shu, you don't fundamentally change anything. You just sprinkle on top. What decides what works or not, what's good and bad, and eventually, let's say, counting karmas and all that, is the Tao behind it, right? And it's not that complicated. The Tao is, you follow universe's Tao. It's guaranteed you're gonna end up somewhere good. Or you don't go against it. You're gonna easily live your life and flow with it and benefit from it. It ultimately is decided by that. So if a person, even when they don't know that they have this, whatever, protecting their family, or they don't do any of those techniques on the surface, they go to weird temples, rituals, sign contracts with spirits, they have no idea about that, but they are following universe's basic code, doing the right things. That naturally will accumulate their, let's say, good karma. So whether they consciously are aware of like any of those things, it does not matter. Even when they don't know any of those, naturally these things will come to them. They will help them. They will come across good friends. They'll come across helps. When they're in trouble, there will just suddenly show up somebody who helped them out and disappear, because it's their accumulated good karma, because they're following the right Tao, so it works out. And that's kind of like solving the problem from the root. And if they don't do that, and they just focus on the surface level of techniques, they can only fix things here and there. They never actually can, like get it easily and naturally and not trying hard. So ultimately, those technique on the top is just, if you put all your energy focusing on that, you are doing it wrong, basically. You're not getting the root cause. And you're always going to be busy running around fixing things instead of, say, let's get the soil and the root well so that it naturally always go to the right direction without you even having to really interfere with anything. And you accumulate good enough, a huge amount of good, you do the right Tao thing. The pay will come. Like, you don't have to force it to happen. It will just naturally happen. 2025 actually is a year I've seen it happen quite clearly. It's like you've done enough good things, right? So time to reap the rewards. Aliens. Are you into Taoism? I don't know it much, but I don't have a problem with any of that. I think I was like more tight. I think probably 缘分 wise, I was like more earlier in my life related to Buddhism. I don't know that much about Taoism, but actually there's always presence in it in my life because I'm Chinese. Like you kind of like inevitably runs into some of it. Family members, friends, inevitably you kind of run into some parts of it. I'm not a huge, like, I don't know much about it, but I do have friends who are actually proper Taoist, not monk. And they're more like they've studied and worked in like Taoism temples, so they know a lot of Taoism thing. I talk to them constantly. I've had friends who also have that kind of background. Yeah, weird. So these things are somehow we ended up talking about that. I think it's because entertainment business is heavily related to that. I'd say every country probably has its own version, right? Like if you look at Western Hollywood, they have their own version of supernatural, whatever called, like the Western side of things. China has its own version. Asia has its own version. Let me go away for a bit and I'll come back. Back. Let's do another about 20 minutes and we'll call it a day. Spoke too much 玄龙门阵, too much weird meta stuff in this live stream. Chinese version of X-File. 义务制, right? The drama a couple of years ago, do you remember? Strange, whatever, like the low budget but actually really well told story by the team of Mao Pian, the 义务制 drama. Literally means record of strange things. That's like a version of X-File. That drama. It's a pretty good drama, although, you know, it's not like high budget and well known. If you haven't seen it, you should. It's a pretty good one. 义务制. Zhang Tao, you know the guy who is Jin Shijia's classmate and then who's also in Under the Skin as a guest star? 3 body. That's a very dark universe. I don't necessarily believe like universe functions like that. Truth be told, I feel probably existence is a lot more random and farce-like than you believe. And they make up the rules as they go. Like, I don't necessarily think what people know now about universe is to anyway explainable in terms of, let's say if everything is just illusion, like Buddha says, right? Existence is a form of illusion. You get a version because you perceive it in that way, therefore it gets realized. And if your perception completely shifts, it becomes another thing. Therefore you can say reality is completely made up. If that's the case, then what is a rule? Like, what is physics? And maybe everything you see in this observable universe is just a form of that thing at work. Once you change how you observe, it changes. So there could be rules, there could be completely rules gets made up as they go. Maybe. So aliens are also a form of perception creating reality. So what is real, right? What is absolutely real? Maybe nothing is absolutely real. If it's all in the game, like a holographic computer game, everything is generated. So even rules can be generated. In this universe, you have gravity. Maybe in another universe, it doesn't work like this. Who knows? So aliens shouldn't surprise people at all. With their agency. I don't know. I think it's just it's like a commercial contract. If both party benefits from it, it's good business. But if you think more of that, you need to have some reason. I mean, there are certain companies that probably have a more different relationship than normal. It could be of all types, but usually it doesn't happen. For example, like a Huge with the company, right? It's not because the company is great, but because during his super low time, the company didn't ditch him. And the company treated him really, really well. Therefore, he always maintained that relationship. So in that sense, that his relationship with his agency becomes a little bit special case. And it doesn't happen to everyone, right? You kind of have to have that huge thing happen in your life to have that special relationship. Mostly it would just be a business contract. Doesn't, like Buddhism says, right? The only permanence is impermanence, right? The only thing permanent in the universe is it's constantly impermanent. No need to fear the metaphysical. Because the metaphysical is actually, I think, the ground for every physical existence. It's like the dark womb where everything gets... Thank you for Patrick Tran for your super chat. It's the dark potentiality, the field of potential that contains everything. But what gets brought up and what gets actually actualized would be depending on how you access that energy. So you can say the metaphysical is just the base of existence. And the fact is, whether you like it or not, whether you get to it or not, it's just always there. Without it, you wouldn't be here. Celebrate their first super chat. Oh, thank you. That's the first super chat. Marvel is so running out of story. They're so boring. No. I don't know why they're still trying. If it's me, I'm like, just gonna give up the whole thing. What's the point? Oh, by the way, today I'm like very Song Dynasty, apart from my hair. I have like a Tang Dynasty pants. And then I have like Song Dynasty super chill, cool summer clothing. People think about ancient people as those super overdressed people, but in reality, in summer, when they're at home, domestic environment, they dress very coolly. They not only dress with sleeveless, even their underwear, which I'm wearing today, which is based on a Song Dynasty piece, is so ridiculously sexy. You know, like Chinese ancient people are so sexy. You don't believe how sexy they are. They shock you. Compared to like contemporary people, they know taste and clothing and being sexy so much better. And it shocks you. It's like the history doesn't really progress in a linear fashion. Kind of also happens to fashion. In case people are wondering. Sleeveless Song Dynasty and Song Dynasty underwear. It's really interesting, ancient people's way of thinking about clothing. I'll go and grab one. I'll show people, and you'll know what I mean. So, a replica of historical underwear of Song Dynasty. So this is about 1,000, a little bit more than 1,000, around that time, years ago. And this comes out of a tomb in Hubei, I think, and it's called Huangshengmu. So this is a tomb that contains hundreds of pieces of clothing. And it is a tomb of a young lady who died at like 16, 17, very young. And you can, based on the tomb, you can tell she comes from a really rich family, probably aristocrat. And the parents really like her. But she died very young. So they basically put so much stuff in her tomb and it got well kept. And it's one of the best kept fabric we have in history that's of Song Dynasty, that's actually in real thing, so you can go and measure and you can see all the weaving of the material and all the form. One of the best kept, over 1,000 years old tomb. So coming out of that is now one of the most popular underwear piece on Taobao of Hanfu, which is the Huangshengmu. See, it's a square and at the bottom like a rectangle, and then it has this and two triangle on the top. And historically, this thing, when they found it, it has lining. It has cotton. And so they believe it's worn in winter. It's not supposed to be a summer thing, and it's only for the belly, so you keep the belly warm. And it would be the most under kind of piece before you put everything on. It's just adding a little bit padding on the top. But these days, people make it without the lining so that it can be a summer thing. And it's just like a piece at the front, and there's no back. So when you put it on, there are multiple ways, because historically you can't know how they tie it up. There's no picture. People guessed you either tie it just like this, and then the long strip comes around. There's a loop here. It goes through it, right? And then it just goes through here, and then this side, and you tie it on the back. And then it has like two more. And then you tie it around your waist. So it only covers the front part. The back would just be all the this thing. Or there's another way of cross. So make it more secure is you cross it behind you, and then you still go through the loop on the side here. You go through it and then you tie it on your back. So on your back, it's all exposed, just those things. And the front will be covered, and from the side, it would just be like, you know, you can see half piece and everything is like tied on the back. Now, this is not necessarily Dudo, because Dudo, like if you look at any Ming Dynasty, Qing Dynasty one, it's designed differently. It doesn't get tied up in the same way, and it's even the shape of it is different. Now, this is the only piece they found in Song Dynasty. So whether first this is a common thing everybody wears, you don't know. Whether it only works in winter, you don't know. We don't have another piece that can basically prove that this is a normal thing. But anyway, this comes from actual North Song design. So now in Hanfu shops on Taobao, this gets like made by every shop, and all kinds of different patterns and material. And you can actually wear this as a summer thing. Like if you're daring enough, you just wear this. Like if you have a small enough breasts that doesn't get like, you know, you can just wear this. And on the back, you can tie it however you like in all kinds of imaginary way. And so it actually looks really, really sexy. If you have a good figure, that's like given, you have a good figure and you know the art of tying stuff, it will look super sexy. But this is like Song Dynasty people, you know? To give you an idea about ancient people being, they've done everything you can imagine and probably more. Don't limit your imagination of ancient people. Yeah, it can, like, I mean, unless you're super sized, like huge or small, right? Usually, and it's easy. Also, like you don't have to think about it. It's a flat piece of fabric. You just have like two triangle. One part, like if you look at the back, you can even see the sewing even clearer. It's one flat piece with 2 loops and 4 strips of clothing long. This isn't like trouble to make because it's very thin, right? You have to flip it around, but if you know how to do it, it's not that much. And it doesn't require any type of darts. Pretty much, you don't need darting. So maybe just on the top here a little bit, and then that's it. And also, like, they had linings ancient time, the actual thing in history. So that would be a winter thing. The only thing is, like, it's kind of like messy on the back because it's all the knots. You know, remember in Word of Honor? In Word of Honor, there's one scene where Zhou Zishu actually was wearing something similar to this, like a male version. Do you remember? I don't know, like because that thing got pulled out. Anybody still remember Word of Honor? It's like a male version of it. That actually comes from a different time. There's also a male version of this, but it's slightly designed differently, but it's kind of functioning the same, just the front part. Wanted Detective, I already talked about it earlier, very early on in this live stream. Yeah, Zhao Lin, but that version is more like a current or like a later version. This is a Song Dynasty version. It's like, for sure, you have an actual artifact that comes from that time that looks like this. Zhao Lin's stuff is like, that she wore was much later. It's like a Qing Dynasty thing. Kind of doesn't really gets tied up the same way. Like the looping thing is pretty clever design. And then later ones don't have that. But again, we don't know if this is like common for that time, or is it just for this family or just for her? Because at the time, clothing don't have like manufacturing as we have today. It's all made by hand. It's all made by people. They can literally do it themselves. So they can invent stuff that's convenient for themselves. Whether that's widely applicable to everybody, you don't know. You're actually living in the time of handmade industry. So until people find more graves and tombs and discover more actual stuff, You don't know. And also this type of very underwear stuff doesn't get recorded in history. Nobody writes about it. Nobody takes a photo of it. They don't have it. They don't draw, right? Necessarily, even when you have those paintings, it's romanticized, and also it doesn't go to detail about how the clothing actually gets put on the person. So even till today, we have a lot of ancient Hanfu where we know what it looks like, but we don't exactly know how it gets constructed, and how it gets put on the person. Because the painting actually doesn't show that detail. You can't tell, like, where does it tie up? Like, where is the strip? Like, does it connect to this? You never, if you don't find a real piece of historical artifact, you can't tell. But that one is actually based on a real thing. Therefore, everybody makes it. Like, you go to any Taobao Hanfu shop, you just type 黄生吊带, which is like the hanging strip. You're gonna get this. It's like so popular. Interesting, isn't it? In Word of Honor, around the episode when Wen Kexing found out about Zhou Zishu is about to die, it's like when they met Ye Baiyi, around 13, 14, around that episode, when Gongjun was in purple. Like, that's how I remember it, because I see it in my brain. Gongjun is in purple. Zhang Zhehan is fighting Ye Baiyi on the bridge. Around there. There's like actually this opening his collar, and I think there's like a version of pulling it out, but then they cut it. But then in special features you see it. Like, I remember roughly it's that. Anybody remembers that can tell me. It's so many years ago. I haven't rewatched the drama for ages. Crochet, embroidery, knotting, not necessarily. I think in China they're still kept. Crochet is not a Chinese thing, right? But in West, it's still a lot of people do it. Embroidery is still being kept in China. Knotting, sure. Chinese knotting is so crazy. Like, there's so many crazy ways of doing it. And also for all the fishermen, right? And people know how to knot things. Yeah, the 1,000 years ago dress, the 50 gram, even till today, nobody knows how to do it. I think they figured out actually why it's so light. It's because back then, the silkworm is different. Its breed gets like mutated, and over years gets breeded to the part where now they have thicker silk. So they spit out thicker thread, and it's at the beginning point of making it, it's already heavier. So no matter how you do, the end product of that piece of clothing is always going to be heavier than the ancient version. It's because currently all the silkworms spit out thicker thread. You can't go back in time. And therefore the Han Dynasty 50 gram silk robe can no longer be made today with the best machine, best technician, because the material has mutated. I think that's like, I've watched a documentary about why currently nobody can make such a light garment, because silkworms have moved on. They have moved on from the ancient version. I think it's just over the years, right? You get selected breeding, and then naturally it also occurs that the older versions that spit out thinner threads just die out. And now because silk is still an organic thing, you can't manufacture that yet, right, with our technology. So you can only depend on the worms, and whatever they spit out you use. You have no choice, and they don't spit out thinner threads now. Which just makes it crazy to think about ancient people with like wooden machine. They don't even have like electric power. They don't have like highly refined metal, whatever machinery. They just use wood, and then they create crazy garment. Jiang Qiming, very, very good. he's actor's actor, right? He's the actor's actor. He's the indie movie guy. He's the guy who's never gonna be an idol actor. Who will always be the character he plays instead of like the famous whatever celebrity. He's that type of actor. And if he doesn't screw it up, right, he's gonna have a very long career. He may never be a major big movie leading actor. He's not like commercially in that way highly valuable, but he's highly valuable in other sense. He's like the golden supporting role, the super like the scenes like the show stealer. Like he's the guy who shows up as the supporting role guest star who's gonna just tank everyone for that sequence and for that part of the movie. But if he is the person who leads the whole thing, it may actually not be commercially really highly like valid. That's Jiang Qiming, that type of actor. He has a very specific niche. It's like Zhang Yu, you know, it's like Zhang Yu, Jiang Qiming, they all belong to that type of actor. You know, they're better than most of the other actors out there, but they probably will never be the focus of the spotlight. But it doesn't change the fact that they're highly valuable. They do have, I think they're lower, but like the lower clothings are, for a long time, I think for example, for women, it's never the shorts. It's always the full length. It's just like multiple layers. You have a one layer in like the inner layer, most inner, but it's still long. They don't do the short thing. They do have underwear, but it's like multiple layers for women. For guys do have, I think historically there are like shorter things. I think there are a couple of pieces I've seen historically, but it doesn't quite function like how it works today. Because imagine like ancient time, they don't have stretchy fabrics. It's like not nylon or any of the plastic thing that you use today to have like a stretchy ability. If it's cotton, it's just like that. Silk doesn't stretch either. There's no like elastic band or anything. So everything gets tied up with a strap, right? It's like a string, a strap. It wouldn't be so form-fitting. Basically, ancient clothing cannot get to the super form-fitting. And it's a different way of doing it, say, in the West, right? In the East. In the West, it's all very darted, the clothing form-fitting, but also it requires, like, if you're a farmer, you don't get dressed up like that. If you're an aristocrat, you ask other people to dress you up. You literally get stitched into your clothing. Like, think about Tudor. The lady put on the clothing by literally standing there, and then the maids literally sew you into your clothes every day. I can't imagine how painful that is. And then how you gonna like easily go to sleep? You have to have people come up and then literally untie you because you can't do it yourself because you get sewed into your clothing every freaking day. I mean, that doesn't sound like a good life. In that way, like Chinese clothing is a lot more forgiving, right? It's flat, it doesn't have darts, it's not 3D, it's flat and you just put it on, but it's like multiple layers, yeah, but it's like better than actually getting sewed into your clothes every day. Hikaru no Go, yeah, it's a good one. It's good director, good adaptation. Before Hu Xianxu lost his weight when he was still a babyface. Afterwards, he's no longer a babyface. Oh, it's already almost 12:30, holy. Crossfire is good too, yes, I agree. Nivarnian Fire, yes, it's good. Three Body is good too, yeah. Still waiting for the third season. I feel like Zhongwu Yangguang probably is just so running out of money, they can't afford doing it now. Nivarnian Fire 3, because it's gonna be a 40-episode drama no matter what. It's not gonna be short. Yet right now, short dramas, like long dramas, people don't want to invest because they don't think it's gonna... It's like a bad industry right now. So for Nirvana 3, there's no news of it. I think mostly it comes down to investment. Right now, it's like nobody dare putting that much money and bet on a project that's not gonna come out in a year or two. And that may be the reason why the third season of NIF is not happening. It's really sad. Good to see though, Liu Haoran doing well in the movie land by having Nanjing Zhaoxiangguan, the character, this time as the lead of that movie that's doing well, and it's gonna have a very important kind of landmark meaning to Chinese cinema for the years to come. That's currently in cinema in China, the Dead to Rights, about the photo developer during rape of Nanjing. He's the lead, right, with a couple of other people. This movie is good for him. Important, because he hasn't been doing that many good things really for the last 7 years, really. 7-8 years. Good that this is happening to him. I'm really happy because Xiao Pingjing in Nirvana Fire 2 is always 白月光. It's like my white moonlight as a character, not as an actor. I don't get interested in actors that much. But the character in Nirvana Fire 2, played by Liu Haoran, is always like the perfect image of a youthful young boy general in period drama. I think that's the perfect. Everything that came after, I can't say before, right? But everything that came after him that is similar character set never got close. Never got close to Xiao Pingjing as a character in the second series of that drama. So I always have that filter for Liu Haoran because of his character in that drama, and it's good to see him after a couple of years now. He get another role in the movie land. I think he intentionally tried to move away from television, because he really didn't do any television after that. He just did movies. There were crappy movies too, there are, but still, like, he's very focused on cinema only. Yeah, it belongs to another era, Hu Ge and Wang Kai, right? Stars have moved on. The olden days, let's say from mid-2010s to early 2020s, those 5 years were like a golden slot for BL or bromance, any similar energy thing in Chinese dramaland, but now it's gone. Now it's gone, and it's a highly contested area for creative effort. And if I were to advise anybody, I'm like, don't go into this. Now is the wrong time. You can't reap any benefit. You're just gonna get trouble. Now is not the time to do that. And I don't know for the future. Maybe things will come back in the circle for like sometime in the future, but not now. Not anytime now. And if you're watching the Wild World on Tencent, one of the latest episode, when they were playing the game, when people joked about 2 male leads, if you watch that episode, it's so funny. Because they were dividing roles between the 7 people on the team, and how they are gonna shoot a short video and what characters they're making up stories on the spot. And they were like, we have 6 guys, or yeah, they have 6 or like 5-6 guys, and we have 1 girl, 2 girls. How are we gonna divide that? And they were talking about it, and then is it Wang Yuwen or Nana? Anyway, the girls suggested let's do a 2 male leads, and Gong Jun turned around. It's like 2 male leads. 2 male leads, and everybody started laughing, and I'm like, oh my god, trauma. If you watched that episode, it's so funny. Like they didn't say anything more, but Gong Jun's reaction to the 2 male leads thing, I was like psychological trauma. Like, ghost from 4 years ago come back to haunt me. and when they said the 2 male leads, everybody, I don't know, like, probably the older guys like Sun Honglei and Li Naiwen, they wouldn't be aware of it, Gong Jun, Liu Yuning, probably Chen He, right? They will all like, they will go like that. And so 2 male leads, seriously, you're talking about 2 male leads to Gong Jun? Really? So filled with landmine. Take one step, you get blown into pieces. And it's just the way it is. I know that drama, right, the revenge love thing, right, had so much gossip and noise. But if you look at how it kind of manifests, it's mostly in a negative way, and also it actually doesn't penetrate circles anymore. Back in the days of Guardian, Untamed, even leading up to World of Honor, you can tell those things actually penetrate multiple circles. They go through circles of people who usually don't watch this, or it touches like a much wider demographics. But now with that one that came out this year that doesn't even get officially aired in China, you see like it has very limited circle. It's like the people who watches it are just that group of people. It doesn't go through, like the wall on it is so tight. It doesn't penetrate any extra levels. And people who don't care about it totally don't care about it at all. It's not like it can bleed into anything. It doesn't. It gets like so contained. And all the buzz and noise is just happening only within its walls. It kind of shows you like the energy of this thing is like no longer like what it was years ago, and not a very good thing to invest money in. as a genre. Oh, it's 30. Okay, 5 more minutes and we'll call it. It's already 3 hours. I mean, World of Honor fandom, I mean, I understand why. Because think about this, right? Untamed, the 2 people in Untamed, they're still kicking around in the industry. Guardian, even more, right? And they're older, kind of more established. And then World of Honor, you have one permanently kind of like missing from the picture. The other guy, ever since then, didn't do any good work. Gong Jun's situation is pretty... he hasn't produced any good work after that, and it's pretty clear a situation. So World of Honor basically has a little bit too much trauma attached to its ending in the story itself, but also after what happened. It's gonna be just hard for people to psychologically enjoying it without any bad aftertaste, right? You can put it that way. Whereas the other 2 are still kicking around and doing okay, so. I didn't notice the song of Wow the World. I was laughing too much. I couldn't even hear what they're talking about most of the time. That variety show is so funny that I think I laugh more than they do in the show, and it makes my muscle like on my cheek sore. I literally like laugh so much that my cheeks hurt from the laughing. Revenge Love, I watched a little bit, it doesn't work on me. And the 2 guys, I don't get them. I don't even remember what they look like. Like, I've looked at their pictures here and there, they're online, and every time I come across a post of them, I can't recognize. I have to read the text. It says it's this person. Okay, it's this person. And I don't remember what they look like. I've looked at them multiple occasions because they're popular. They show up everywhere, inevitably, on your feed. Yet I don't remember. Till today, if you just like put their picture to me now and ask me who they are, I wouldn't be able to tell. I still don't remember what they look like. For the guys of Revenge Love. Untamed, the problem of Untamed, I think, is the production is bigger than the actors. The actors don't contribute that much to the story. It's more like the story contribute to the actors. Because honestly, Wang Yibo was so green. Think about it. He doesn't get any training of acting. He really back then, right? He's just like suiting for the character, but in terms of acting itself, like he doesn't know what he's doing. So when you think back on the Untamed, right? That's the situation where it's more like 戏保人. And Guardian is 人保戏. And Word of Honor is like in the middle. It's like slightly 戏保人, slightly 人保戏. Probably more 戏保人, but there's a level of 人保戏 also happening. Whereas Untamed is definitely 戏保人, and then Guardian is 人保戏. So this is the way we talk about what lends to what. So story or the drama or the play itself lends to the actors, or the actors lends to the drama. So Guardian is the person, the people lend to the drama. Untamed is drama lent to the actors. Word of Honor is kind of in middle. That's how I would put it. Whether you agree with it, I don't know. But from my kind of like observation, I think for the success of those 3 BL dramas, BL adaptation dramas, it's that situation. Overall, generalizedly spoken, is Guardian, the actors save the drama. Untamed, drama saved the actors. Word of Honor, more kind of in the middle. Or maybe like 60% or 70% drama lent to actors. Bromance. Historical. I miss those old days. Since the ending of Word of Honor, there's never been another drama that's as crazy, right? In terms of, even for me as a reviewer, my involvement and the fun I've had. And even ad money like I get from those videos never got topped by everything that came after. Word of Honor was like huge. And after that, it's like everything is dead. And it's been dead for 4 years. Immortality? Don't think about it. I don't think it's gonna get released. I don't think even like Chen Feiyu and Luo Yunxi would want that to happen now. They wouldn't want that. Trust me. Their fandoms probably wouldn't want that either. Trust me again. Particularly their fandom. Luo Yunxi and Chen Feiyu. Because their fandoms are mostly girls. And those girls just want their baby idol guy to be virgin and loving only women. Trust me. So, if a BL airs now, it's gonna be so exploding a bomb in an outhouse. It's gonna be very, very pretty. Anything else? Yeah. See, experienced drama watchers would know that's gonna be a super shit show. So probably best not to come out. Like even Wang Anyu, Fan Chengcheng, Tan Jianci, Chen Zheyuan drama. Some of them I really want to watch, but also I know like it's not gonna be good for them. Maybe in the future distribute that underground, I don't know, in DVD and sell it by copies. I don't know, like just like maybe let us see it, but not let us see it publicly. You know, like when they, let's say, wait till like Chen Feiyu and Luo Yunxi are like old and fat. Balding. Wait till they're 50. And they have like a waist that's that size. Unrecognizable. And wait till like we are in 10G. And we can download a terabyte in every second. Wait till that happens. Put it flashy on internet for like 10 seconds and everybody on the planet can get it, the whole drama, and take it away and pretend it never happened. Wait till cloud storage can download at the speed of 1 terabyte per second. And so we can get the drama in 1 second. So the drama can only be released accidentally on a cloud drive for 10 seconds. Therefore, everybody gets a copy in the world instantly. And we all go back and watch 30 years ago, high definition that looks way too blurry for our future eyeballs, although I don't know how that could happen. And marvel at how skinny they used to be and looking at how they don't have hair anymore now. I'm imagining that happening, and already I'm laughing about how funny that would be. And by then, nobody would have any ill feelings about it, and everyone would just laugh at it, including themselves. That's the golden time for the release of the 30-year-old drama that never got released. And then it's like a 谭健次、陈哲远、陈飞宇、罗云熙, they can all be sitting on the same couch and watching it together, like do a watch party. And look at it, look at how good I look like back then. Oh, I wish I could be skinny like that. and then like it show that to older audiences like us, and while the young people of that time would be like, what the heck am I looking at? What is this crap? My grandparents just look at this? Or pathetic. Oh my god. Sorry. It's too funny just by imagining what they would look like. You know, like by then we have like holographic projections. So everyone can literally have a holographic projection of this. So they can be sitting in one room that gets filmed by holographic projection camera. And then you turn on your device, it gets holographically projected in your sitting room. So you can sit beside them. They look like living, breathing people, and they're watching their show, you're watching it with them, and you can look at their like live reaction in the moment of like basically Vision Pro times plus 10. I already am excited about that future. Imagine how cool would that be if you can holographically move somebody into your room. People are gonna do all kinds of weird things to the holographic projection of the stars. Imagine that. Ugh. I have to stop my imagination because it's gonna go to weird places. Okay, very soon. It's not gonna be very good. Let's just create more drugs for the mind. Yeah, this gets people talking. Like we're at the end of 3 hours live stream and you're typing like crazy because it gets you excited about future prospect of grabbing these people into your sitting room. By then you're gonna act like a pedophile because you're gonna be so old. This is weird. Getting to weird zone too quickly. I'll try to do it like a whole time. 2 minutes 45, we cut it. I choose life. You don't have to like deny it. Like you can have real life. You can have this too. You can have your cake and eat it. You don't have to choose. Yeah, VR. Yeah, but VR is like still quite restricted, right? It's like you have to wear the device. It's hard on your eyes, face. It's not comfortable. You have to be strapped to a battery. It's not like user experience wise, not very, very nice. But I think in the future it's gonna be so integrated in life that you don't really realize you don't need devices. You don't have to wear anything. It just like is in the space. Well, it depends on how old are you. I don't know. I mean, when you get to a certain age, you're gonna be like, I don't give a shit to anything. Even the stars I like. You're gonna be like, you're here to service me. Okay? And I decide what happens. Entertain me. Slave. Trust me, you're gonna get to that point. Okay? You're gonna know sort of like the appearance of all stars are just dressed up. Right? It's just a product. And they're just humans. They pick their nose and they fart. Let's just be honest, in real life. Too. They're by no means sublime. Yes, the Immortal Ascension is directed by the same person who directed Dream of Splendor. I don't know what happens. Maybe she doesn't get full control. And the cinematographer definitely is a crappy one. Cinematography of Immortal Ascension is so bad that it baffles me that it happens in 2025. Okay, that should be the end of this live stream. It's been 3 hours. Thank you for joining in. I've talked about weird things in this one. I'll try to find out a way to time code this. It's gonna be like in the huge middle section, it's gonna be weird talks. Warning, you're not gonna see normal things here. And then get back to Dramaland. But thank you for the super chat, and then for people who showed up and talked. Have fun. Let's hope the rest of August is gonna be more interesting than what we have now, which is not really that interesting so far, and we're end of summer almost. On this half of the planet, sorry for Australian people. I didn't forget you. Please take care. See you in my Saturday video. Take care.